There you go. Craig's now listening to our creepy conversation like a weirdo. Basically, Discord just made a perv. That's literally what Discord did.
That is by far the craziest intro for a recording I've ever heard.
Now recording. He looks cute, but he sounds like a fucking Team Rocket grunt. I don't know. All right, I'm ready to start this. If you are,
I'll follow your lead whenever you're ready.
all right then.
Welcome to the Tiger Nexus Podcast, a place where you'll find interviews with content creators and geeks alike. Your host, Tiger, has delved upon the Nexus and found interesting content creators and geeks of all fandoms. This podcast is connected to the Zero Hero Network. And now, we dive in with another episode!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tiger Nexus Podcast. I'm your host, Tiger, and today, I've actually been very much looking forward to this one. I get to geek out about Pokemon for a couple hours. Many people know, if you know me, I'm a massive fan of Pokemon, and today's guest, it's literally made his following on TikTok and on Twitch, playing the games. He's redesigning shinies, which we'll definitely get into. He's a massive Pokemon nerd. We've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about it. So yeah, welcome, KETSU. Hey, bro, how are you?
I'm doing great. Well, to be fair, I literally got sick like this morning, and I'm like tanking through it because I was just like, I know I've got this today, and this has been like besides like my daughter's weekend, I'm like so excited. So my daughter's birthday yesterday, and obviously I had this today, and I'm buzzing. This whole weekend has been absolutely buzzing for me.
Well, first off, I hope you get well. Second of all, happy birthday to your daughter, and thirdly, thank you, bro. That's awesome. Like, that's great. Yeah, I've been like we discussed. I've been following you for let's call it a year. And then when you started like redesigning the shinies and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, hang on, this is cool. I like this idea. And if I haven't seen you on my feed for a couple of days, I'll actually search you because sometimes you don't pop up. I was like, hang on a second, he's actually done a couple by now. And like, I'll miss some. I'm like, no, hang on, I've got to find out which one's which. And like, I missed Celebi. Celebi only popped up like yesterday. I was like, hang on. But I watched him do his top 10. I was like, hang on, Celebi's what? Hang on. So I had to go find the Celebi video. I was like, I missed Celebi.
To be fair, you're not the only one that's like commented for that, because I had someone comment to me the other day going like, I've not seen you on the For You page or like the follow page for like ages now, and it was the same thing. They just popped up and they saw Celebi or the top 10, and it was just like, how have I skipped all of these? I was like, it doesn't matter, like as long as you found us again, it's completely fine. Like, we've got all of them there. I'm not gonna get rid of any of them. And I'm also really upset that TikTok does not let you do playlists for like under a certain amount of follow count, and it really aggravates me.
That pisses me off too, because I've got my TikToks. I don't have a dedicated thing, it's all over the place, but sometimes I geek out with people, sometimes I'm replying to comments, and sometimes I'm talking about YouTube and my podcast and stuff, and so I'd like to put this all in a playlist so people can see what I'm doing, and because I'm all over the place. So yeah, I completely get that. It's annoying as hell.
Yeah, because they for some reason they don't do it unless it's like a certain like follow count, which is always been so weird to me. But then when someone goes like, oh, I can't see all these in like a playlist, I try and like push them to YouTube, because YouTube just lets you do a playlist like immediately, which I still don't get why TikTok just doesn't do that. But I guess to each their own. Maybe they'll change it.
So let's start from the beginning. What got you into doing which one came first, Twitch or TikTok?
It kind of happened around. Oh, definitely YouTube first, because I started watching YouTube like back in the beginning part of it, back when like 90% of YouTube was like cat videos and stuff like that, and then I was watching like the old school juggernauts, like back when it was Equals 3, like Jenna Marbles, when they were all at like the top of the food chain. And then I thought it was like I thought it was really fun. Then I did it with someone that I used to talk to. But I felt like it wasn't great, because it was like he was running the channel mostly, and it was always me going to like his house and stuff like that. So I thought it's not fair for me to kind of like reap the rewards if you're gonna like sit there and it's your house, you're editing, and it's your post. I'm just like the face, so I'm gonna do my own thing. So I thought it was a bit more fair. So and then I've just been doing it since. I think that was ages ago now, and I've done like a bunch of different like things in the past, but Pokemon's definitely been the one that's like stuck and has been the most fun out of like everything.
Pokemon gets a lot of attention though. I do many different things across YouTube. I've got a couple different channels, and I have an art channel. I'm not great at drawing at all. I do warn people before they watch it. But it's called the Osmond Library, and the reason why it's called that is because I'm building up to making my own Monster Tamer series on YouTube. But I'm doing a series on there where I'm making variants for all the Pokemon in the format of an apocalyptic nuclear warfare, like has happened like 100 years ago, and the Pokemon's had to adapt. So, like, basically, what if Pokemon had to go through thing like Fallout, if you've ever played that game, but like if like Pokemon had to go through a nuclear warfare, how would they adapt? And so I've done on YouTube. There's the starter trio, the Kanto starter trio, and Mew, but I have drawn a few more. So like they change types, they change looks, and there's lore why they look like this and stuff like that. And so like I've started that, and that gets views, bro. Like the Kanto starter trio is like almost at 1,000. It's ridiculous, and like I've only got 24 subscribers on the channel.
That's great.
It blows up, bro. Like,
because everyone's like so focused on like the starters, because that's like the main one that everybody looks at, right? Because it's so easy to like pick up like these are the starters, these is what's like kind of like running every game basically from like start to finish. So it's like, I think doing starters is a lot more easier, because I remember when I did the redesigns for the Kanto trio as well. Like those three went absolutely like popped off, and everybody loved those as well. Like they loved like all the redesigns and everything like that, and it was a lot of fun. Like but yeah, I think it is because of like the starters that everyone just like goes nuts for.
Yeah, and then something else that's also blown up for me as well is I write stories and fan fictions, and I turn them into audio dramas for people to listen to. And I've got a couple Pokemon stories. I've got 2 at the moment. One of them is like an anthology series where I'm just making up a trainer. I give them a couple Pokemon. I write a story, and that's it. But I've also done a sequel for Go, because in the anime, he joins Team Mew, and then he fucks off, and we never see him again. So I'm doing kind of like a sequel to that. And oh my god, Chapter 2 to Pokemon where it's Go, I posted on 2 different channels, mine and one of my buddies, and flipping hell, that got like over 1,000 in a couple of days. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, people really like Pokemon stuff. It's absolutely nuts. And so, like, yeah, you've definitely like, if because you love Pokemon so much and everything, and you've kind of like just clung on to Pokemon, you get the views and stuff. You're gonna do well.
It fit really well, because I've been playing Pokemon since before I could even remember. So it just kind of like made sense to always like go into Pokemon, because it's like 20 different things to do with Pokemon that I'm just so interested. It's like things like the shinies. Like I always collect the cards, always get like every game. And then like even the fan made stuff like Nuzlocke. I used to do I did Nuzlocke for like a pretty big long time alongside the shiny designs, but that's more like on the Twitch side. Yeah. It was just like there's like so many different things to do with like Pokemon that it's like you barely never essentially run out of content, which is really nice.
Yeah, that is one good thing. Is like so I actually put a TikTok up yesterday. Well, technically speaking, it was early hours this morning. But I said, hey, people of the Pokemon community, I kind of need your help here, because I want to do So over the course of this year, I write all different types of stories and fan fictions. I dive into many different fandoms, and Pokemon has done really well. And beginning of the year, I started doing this thing where each month I dedicate it to one specific like fandom. So like in January, it was it was Power Rangers and Super Sentai, Tokusatsu, and blimey, my channel did good on that month. So I was like, I want to dedicate 1 month to Pokemon next year. I want to do just 1 month where it's all Pokemon stories. So I said on TikTok, I was like, Pokemon community, I need your help. I've got a couple ideas of Pokemon stories. So I listed off my ideas. One of them is like write a story where it's the sequel to Pokemon Colosseum, if you ever got to play that on GameCube. So like I want to write a sequel to that and put the character, his Umbreon and his Eevee in like a different region, like one of the newer regions, because he's based in Gen 3. I want to say that game's based in Gen 3.
Yeah, he's in like a very weird in between. He's like kind of Gen 2, but also Gen 3.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
So like So I want to put him I wanted him to travel to like on a Lola or like Gala or something, see what he's like with that. And then like the series on my art channel, I said, where it's all apocalyptic, and I want to maybe write a story in that. That'd be kind of cool. And so I said to the Pokemon crew on TikTok, hey, let's work together. Let's see if we can come up with anything. So when it comes to like the Pokemon community on TikTok and Twitch and stuff, has it been difficult for you when it comes to the community, or have you found the community to be quite nice and quite, welcoming?
I'd say for pretty much like 99% of the time, it's been really nice. It's been super, super nice. Like obviously I think with like every community there's always like a bad apples in there, but the more you ignore it, the easier like it just becomes. It's always been it's been really nice. Like everyone like shares the same ideas. Like even with the shiny redesigns, it's like, oh, like would you have done this color instead? And I was like, I actually didn't think about that color, so that actually would have been really good. Or it's like if someone's going like, oh, this Pokemon was like inspired of this or inspired of that, we kind of like go for a back and forth. I'd say for a good like 99% of the time, it's been just a fantastic place to be a part of. Like all the Discord communities I'm a part of and all the comments of like TikTok and YouTube and stuff, everyone's been just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I think when it comes to fandoms and communities, I think Pokemon definitely has one of the nicer ones out there. There's a lot less judgy people. Like obviously, like you said, there can be the bad apples for sure, but I think you're gonna get a lot less toxicity. But I also believe that's because Pokemon literally is one of those things that you can be 6 or you can be 60 and you can pick up a Pokemon game. You can watch the Pokemon anime, stuff like this. It's very open to like everybody. And it's all about, the anime especially is all about, hey, Pokemon are friends. They're not, slaves or anything. They're like best buds, So I think that's a good message for kids and, stuff like that. So I think it's one of the less toxic communities out there. Because, like I said, I've been following you for a while, and I don't think I've really ever seen that. I don't think I've seen many, like, toxic comments in your comment sections. Like I've definitely, like you said, there's definitely been times where I've definitely seen people go, hey, because it's themed off of this, you could have done this color, and I've actually seen you respond going, that's a good point. Like actually, yeah. So what got you into doing the whole redesigning shinies? Because you set yourself up for this massive task. There's over 1,000 Pokemon as of right now. What got you into doing the shinies?
I've seen people kind of like do it in the past, but they've always like kind of scattered it around. Like they've just done every random Pokemon that's like kind of popular. And I just thought no one's exactly done it from like 1 to 1,000 plus. And doing stuff like Pokemon, like you said, is like it's super huge. Like anyone can get into it, anyone can watch it, and so it's like it's really highly saturated. So finding a specific niche within that whole franchise is crazy tough. But yeah, I was like completely shocked that like no one's actually done shinies from 1 to like 126, I think is the right number, I think. And so yeah, so I was just like, why don't I just do that? And it's like a nice journey to go through. I get to actually check out every single Pokemon, see what their shinies are, because like I like half them I don't even know what the shiny is. And then when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that cannot do. Like I remember seeing one, it was just like, I think it was Espeon, it was just like the really nasty green. And I was just like, yeah, that can't stay. That cannot stay. That needs to change.
Pokemon has this, the people behind the shinies, whoever sits down and goes, right, let's make some shiny Pokemon for our games, they like that disgusting green, because it's not just Espeon who gets that green shade, either there's a few of them. And I'm sat there going, why do you want your Pokemon to look like a booger? I don't know, it looks disgusting.
I remember I had to research that like ages ago. I was just like, there's no way people sat there and thought like, oh, this is the one. And I was researching it, and it was actually really funny. They've only started manually changing the shinies since like I think Gen 7. I want to say Gen 7. And it was like apparently everything before that, the sprite was like put in a code, and the code would like switch up the colors, and that would just be the shiny. So like whatever came out, it was just like essentially AI generated. Just like, okay, well, no one's actually put like time into making everyone from Gen 1 to 6 like actually unique. So I thought at least for 1 for 6, I can just change everything manually and at least give like some inspiration of what they look like and what colors fits them the best and just slap it all together that way and just not have to worry about AI ruining everything.
So when it comes to the shinies, when you do the videos, you say that you're redesigning shinies all the way from Bulbasaur all the way to whoever's the last Pokemon in the Pokedex. When they do like the next game and they add more Pokemon and new Pokemon, are you going to add that to your list, or are you just going to cap it off at where it is now and then maybe do the new ones?
I think when the new one comes out and they actually announce new ones, I think if anything, I'm just going to tuck them into wherever I'm at. But then I'm also thinking maybe wait until at the end, because everyone's like been commenting, oh, try like this Pokemon. I'm like, but this Pokemon's in like Gen 5 and this one's in Gen 7. I barely made it to 3. And it's because if I start doing it all randomly, I'll end up forgetting that I've actually done those ones and I'll have to redo them again. So I'm kind of on the fence between if there are any new Pokemon that get announced, should I tuck them in wherever I'm at that point, or should I just wait until like way in the future when it's like Gen 9 getting done?
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, you at least you've done the smart thing, and because Pokemon are because the actual Pokedex is numbered from 1 to 1,000 and something, at least you've got a good base. You know to follow the number, so at least you're doing it. That, like you said, it's structured. Then, isn't it? Like you know what you're doing. And yeah, I see a lot of people ask you to do like Blaziken and fucking what was it? I saw a comment on one of your most recent ones. Someone asked you to do Fuecoco, and I was like, Fuecoco's in the latest generation, bro. Like he's just finished like Gen 2. He's got a long way to go yet, mate. Like
I think that was I think that was Richard Fairley. He's a super cool artist. He's like, most of the time when you see me do the shinies, his music is what's at the bottom, and he's asked me to do like Fuecoco and Sarah Ledge and stuff, and I'm just like, I promise I will get there. It's just gonna take like a hop, skip, and a jump to get there first.
To be fair, I haven't commented because I understand where you're going through, but I'm a huge fan of the Chinese series. I've been, like I said, I've been there from the get-go. But like, to be honest, I am looking forward to certain Pokemon that are in the later generation to see what you do with them. Like, Lucario, one of my favorite Pokemon. Looking forward to see what you do with that. And Mega Lucario, looking forward to see what you do with that. On Steelix is one of them. When you're in Gen 1, I was like, I cannot wait for you to get to Steelix. The Gen 3 are some of my favorite starters, so like when you get to that'd be really cool to see as well. But yeah, it's just like, to be fair, I am looking forward to some Pokemon. It's just like I'm waiting now. It's like, the Reggies do not have good Chinese at all. And it's just like I'm waiting for you to get to the Reggies. It's like I really want to know how you're gonna do Reggie Ice, because it's literally made out of ice. So, like, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Like, how are you gonna do that? So yeah, I can see why people are like, hey, do this, because they want to know how you're gonna do it. But also, I respect the fact you're going through the Pokedex. But like, I am looking forward to seeing more. For sure.
Yeah, because it's like I know everyone was gonna be like, oh, do this one, do that one, and it's like I'm never mad about it, because it's just like everyone wants to see their favorite get done, and it's a cool series to like go through and stuff like that. It's a super cool thing to see like someone else's stuff. Even when I'm watching someone else like rechange the shiny, I'm just like, that's actually really cool. I didn't think of that like color scheme. It's really nice. So yeah, I'm never mad when someone goes like, oh, I want to do. Like, I want you to try to do, like, Garchomp, or I want you to do somebody else in, like, Gen 6. I'm like, I want to as well. Like, it irks me so badly that I have to wait to do specific Pokemon as well. Like, one of my favorites that I really want to do is Mimikyu, because Mimikyu's, like, one of my favorites.
Mimikyu's great.
I'm just like, it's all the way in Gen 7. I have to wait for, like, a year and a half, because I'm probably not going to get there until, like, a year and a half.
So, the really funny thing is my son goes to my parents' house quite often, and Logan was explaining to my family about Mimikyu, and he was doing his best to explain what Mimikyu was. So my mother and my stepmother just looking at me with the raised eyebrows. I basically explained it to them in a way they would understand. And they were like, that's actually like really sad. And then one day, one of my sister's friends kind of gave my son all of her like old Pokemon plushies, and Mimikyu was one of them. So Logan went up to my parents, were like, "This is Mimikyu," and they both were like, "Oh my god, it's actually really adorable." And like, my parents don't watch Pokemon. My mum's watched like Gen 1 because my mum got my older brother into Pokemon. My older brother got me into Pokemon. So like, my mum got us into like Gen 1, but that's it. So when she looked at Mimikyu, like, she found it really adorable. And now, that was like months ago, now both my mother and my stepmother both have a Mimikyu plushie. They don't even watch the show. Because they like
Oh my
Mimikyu so much.
gosh.
Like, Mimikyu's adorable.
Oh, absolutely. My daughters were the same as well because I remember I was playing on the Switch and I had Mimikyu on my screen, and my eldest daughter, she came up to me and she goes like, "Oh, it's Pikachu." I was like, "No, it's not Pikachu. It's called Mimikyu. It's like Pikachu, but it's not really Pikachu." And she goes, "I love this one." I'm like, "Yeah, you do."
So I'll get back into your TikToks in just a second. We're on the topic of Mimikyu for a minute. This happens a lot on the podcast. It's fine. If you could, obviously Mimikyu is pretending to be Pikachu. Like, you know, it's like cosplaying as Pikachu. If you could pick one other Pokemon for Mimikyu to, like, you know, try to pretend to be, like, if there was like a variant of Mimikyu or something, what Pokemon would you want Mimikyu to pretend to be?
Oh, that's a really good question. Oh, there's like so many could be done with that. I think if I had to say anything, like I could play it safe and just say like Eevee, but that's playing it too safe. I'd probably say something like I want to say Marill. Marill's like the first one that came into my head for that.
Oh no, that is a good one. Oh damn, yeah, fair, no, that is a good one actually. I think mine would be like someone like Smoochum or Magby, you know, someone like little like that. Like, that'd be like really funny to see.
Like, it's really tough to think about because I keep thinking of like all the hoods it would wear, and it's like, oh, they all look like really nice, and it's just like, which one would be like the best one for it?
See, in my head, like, bigger Pokemon wouldn't work because Mimikyu's such a little dude, you know. And like, in my head, like, you know, I think of like, I don't know, Snorlax. I'm like, yeah, but would that work though?
Yeah, like even Munchlax would be like way too big.
Yeah, yeah, no, Munchlax is a pretty beefy dude, to be fair. But yeah, I think Magby or Smooch would be hilarious. But it annoys me that Mimikyu falls under the bad guy Pokemon in the anime. Like, there are definitely Pokemon out there that have always been the bad guys. You know, Ekans, Coughing. And then like in the later generations, you know, Team Rocket have gotten like different Pokemon because they had that weird slot machine thing for a while. But Mimikyu was one of James's, or was it? No, was it James's Pokemon, or did they both use it? I can't remember. But Mimikyu ended up being Team Rocket's Pokemon. I was like, really? You're gonna give the cute little like, you know, sad little Pokemon dude into the bad guy? Like, that's just depressing.
I love like Mimikyu's little arc back in like the Sun and Moon anime as well. I always loved it because it was just like they always wanted Pikachu for the longest time, and now they have kind of like a B-Tech Pikachu always on their side now, and that Mimikyu coincidentally also hates Pikachu as well. And I'm just like, this is probably one of the most perfect Pokemon that Jesse and James could have ever like had.
Yeah, to be fair, that does work perfectly. So yeah. Anyway, I had to divert to me because we mentioned Mimikyu, and I was like, yes, I had to ask you that question. It happens a lot when it comes to podcasting. It's fine, as long as we like, you know, don't divert off too much. It's all good.
Not too far off the rails.
It happens a lot. Trust me. I managed to interview someone before. On TikTok about collecting, because that was this whole thing about collecting superhero figures and stuff. And I think the interview portion of the podcast lasted about 12 minutes. The podcast was over 2 hours long. Because we diverted that much about superheroes and movies and stuff. It just went all over the place. It was great, though. It was a good episode. It just, went all over the place. So it's fine. So when it comes to doing the shinies, how do you actually do the shinies? Because I see a couple of people actually ask you this question, like, are you like redrawing the whole Pokemon? Are you just like changing like the color scheme of it, or like how what's the process of getting a Pokemon and then changing the shiny?
The funniest part is I've been trying to keep this like under lock and key for like so long because obviously when I got those comments I was saying to my wife like, oh, someone's like asking how should I do it, and we were both kind of saying like, no, because then more people are gonna want to ask how you do it. So like keep it hush. But I don't. It's like it's just something really easy. It's literally just a color drop for it. So it's you just get the image, you find out whatever color you want to do, and you literally just drop it on. It's because the way that the shinies are done like, in the actual games and stuff is so straightforward. It's like whatever one color is, that's the color that gets changes throughout like the whole body. So say like for example, if it was I don't know, like Raichu's cheeks would always be one color, its body would always be one color, and its tail would always be like one color, and they would all have their own individual colors when the shiny hits. So either they'll change or they just won't change like at all. So it's a lot easier to kind of figure out what color to swap it into, because like if you follow that whole trend of just like whatever color is on the body, you change it throughout all of it. And it's just like it's a lot easier to just go like, right, I want this color, and just like dot it on, and then you're pretty much good to go.
So how many shinies do you do in one sitting then compared? Because obviously you show us on TikTok and we see them like, once every day or once every other day or whatever upload schedule is. But like how many do you actually have done, in one go? Or do you do it one at a time?
It depends. It depends on my day because obviously I'm with my wife and kids a lot, and obviously I'm doing like my other stuff like my editing or like practicing for VGC and stuff like that. So it's really depends. I could sit here for like an hour and I could like scratch away like 5 different lines if I know exactly what I'm doing. It also depends on like the time frame or like what exactly I want for that shiny, because some of them are really straightforward. It's like I've already like pre-planned what I'm doing for the shiny that's coming up. Sometimes I might look at it and I might have to like deep dive. I might have to like Google like, oh, what is it inspired off of? And then it's like, oh, are there colors that I can use that for inspiration? And so sometimes it's a bit harder, so that might drag me back a little bit. But roughly, I like to try and get rid of like 3 different lines at least in the week, because my whole schedule is just like three uploads. So ideally, it's 3 shiny lines for the week. That's like kind of my minimum. But if I've ever got like spare time, I just crack out more.
Like I said, you're very dedicated, and I respect the dedication because, that's because, like you said, sometimes you edit, you do YouTube as well, and things like this, and so some of your videos are actually quite long as well on YouTube. I checked out this morning, and I think it was like your second to last one or something. You're ranking Pokemon, but like it was like almost 40 minutes long. I was like, "Damn, son. Okay, fair enough." That's a fair comment. What do you find easiest, YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok?
I would probably say Twitch is a lot easier in terms of like content wise, at least for me personally. I know a lot of people are probably going to say something else, but for me personally, it's Twitch stuff, because I normally stream for about 4 hours. So I can literally get that whole 4-hour stream and kind of like break that up. That's why the ranking video that you was talking about was so long, because that was from a stream that I did about a few weeks ago. So I just thought, it'd be kind of like easy just to kind of like talk about it. That way I talk with chat live at the same time. We can kind of bounce off each other quick, and then I can get all of that, chop it up, and then like throw it up whenever I'm ready. And then I've still got like 3.5 hours of just streaming to do. So it's a lot easier to kind of get like everything out in one big bulk for streaming wise. I think TikTok, it's kind of like it's a whole other game plan for it, but definitely this shiny redesign series makes it a lot easier to push out content, because there's like so like many more Pokemon to do. So that's gonna keep me busy on TikTok for a while.
Yeah, fair. I see a lot of people kind of give me the same answer if they kind of go on multiple platforms. Twitch seems to be, because you are just streaming in it. Like it's not, there's no major editing in the background afterwards. There's not, like you said, you've got people that you can bounce off and talk to, and like so when it comes to Twitch. Because on YouTube you're like 1.5k, which is pretty good, to be fair. That's a decent amount of subscribers. On TikTok you're on like 2,000 and something, which is really good. Especially for someone doing like art and everything. I think that's actually a pretty decent amount of following. So on Twitch, when you're live and stuff, what's kind of like your average like viewer count?
This one's there's like a backstory to this essentially because when I first started Twitch, I wasn't originally doing Pokemon. I was doing Smash Bros. I was doing Smash Ultimate.
Oh,
And that
Smash
was
Ultimate was a game and a half.
yeah,
bro.
it was really fun to do. At the time, it was really fun to do. And yeah, so I'd like open up lobbies and people would come in, and that's where like majority of the follow count came from. That was like majority of the viewership. Eventually, I stopped having fun with it, and it just became less. It just became less fun to do, and I was just like, I can't really keep doing this cycle because my wife kind of put me in perspective for this, and I cherish the words that she says whenever she sees me come down and go like, yeah, it's not the best day. She always puts me back on track. I cherish whatever life goals she gives me. I literally came down one day and I was just like, yeah, it wasn't exactly the best. I don't feel that great. And then she just goes like, so then why are you doing it? Like the whole point of you doing this is that you've got this time to yourself to kind of be who you want to be. You're literally here for your own time. If you're not enjoying your own time, what are you doing? And I'm just like, to be fair, you're right. So I stopped doing Smash, and I was just like, I've always enjoyed Pokemon. Like it's always been like my pastime, even like growing up. So I was just like, why not just do it and just kind of see where it goes from there? And it wasn't as fluid as when I was doing Smash, but I enjoy it like 100 times over than what I was doing with Smash. Like if someone asked me if I was starting Twitch again and I had the choice between hardcore going into Pokemon or sticking on Smash, I would have chose Pokemon like 110%. It's like so much more fun to do it, even though like the numbers are less and stuff like that. It's so much more fun with my time doing like Pokemon, like the Nuzlocke and the VGC and all that type of stuff, and just talking about it in general.
Yeah, see, so sometimes I ask this question, sometimes I don't, because obviously people are different. But when people mention the fact they have a spouse, I sometimes I like to ask the question, okay, how did your spouse deal with the fact that you make content? But I'm not going to ask you that question because you've literally just told me that she's really good. But like my point is like it's good. I love hearing when content creators go, oh yeah, my spouse completely like supports me and things, because it's such a content creating can for a lot of people be the thing they do. People can eventually make money off of it and stuff like this. It could be a career, it could be something that gets people to like meeting celebrities and traveling the world and all sorts of bollocks. And it's like my fiance, she's an absolute fucking dream. She helps me out so much. Like I said, I've got multiple different YouTube channels. I have ADHD. I can't focus on one thing for too long. And like, she may not watch all my videos, but every single day she'll go onto my channels and she'll say to me, right, what have you uploaded on what channel? What have I got to do? So I'll tell her what I've uploaded, and then she'll go and like all the videos, and then she'll watch about 30 seconds to 60 seconds. It counts as a view. And like, she'll actually make sure that all my videos have something. She'll listen to the podcast, even though half the time I'm talking about stuff that she isn't going to understand. It'll fly right over her head, things like this. But like, she is really good like that. And it's just like, I love hearing when content creators talk to me on here and they're like, oh yeah, my spouse is very supportive and things. I'm like, yes, that's the way it should be. I'm really happy about that.
Because it was a lot easier because I've known my wife since high school. Like we've
oh wow,
we've gone to like the same high school. We're only like a year apart, so it's really like she knew what I was doing way before like we even got together. She knew exactly what I was doing. She knew what the goal was like that I set for myself. So she was already like, I'm already like on board. I'm already here. And she was the same when I first started out on Twitch. She would like always join in. Like she would join in on the chat just to have like just that one little like viewer there, just to kind of start the snowball type of thing. Even though she had like no clue what the hell Smash terms I was talking about at the time, or like even when I'm talking now about like Pokemon and stuff, she's like, what the heck is a Rillaboom? And I'm just like, just don't worry about it, it's fine.
I like that. What hell's a Rillaboom? That's great. I like that. Yeah, definitely. I just love like hearing when people talk about their spouses, and it's nice to hear that, because tell the absolute truth, let's just be real here for a minute. Not every couple's gonna be like that. There are gonna be people that are like, hey, I want to make content, and their spouse is gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing? You need to make some
Yeah,
money, go get a job,
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
thing.
Oh
So
my gosh.
to be honest, people are like that, and I've been in relationships where in the past where I collect video games. I'm a huge comic book nerd. I love Pokemon and I collect things and all this sort of stuff. And I've had like spouses or spouses' families be like, "Why is he wasting money for? Why is he wasting his time for?" And things like this. And it's
Oh
not a nice
gosh.
feeling at all.
That
So
one hits.
like
Sorry, that one hits like way too close to home for me as well.
because it's not nice, and there's people out there who enjoy going to pubs and getting pissed and enjoy spending money to go watch football, and we're not doing any different. We're enjoying ourselves in fandoms we like. It's not like we're going off and abusing substances or wasting money on like boring crap or anything. We've both said in this podcast that like our children are into Pokemon. We've gotten our kids into something, and like one thing I always stress about Logan being into Pokemon is, he loves Ash as a character, he loves Pikachu as a Pokemon, and he loves it when we start a new series and Ash gets new Pokemon, and Logan has a cat called Litten. We got kittens last year, and he was stuck on what to call him. And I was like, Logan, mate, you love Pokemon. Why not name him after one of the cat Pokemon? And because the cat's black and white, he was like, I don't want to call him Meowth because he doesn't look the same color. I was like, yeah, that's fair. And then he said Litten. I was like, dude, that's perfect. Like, it's a black cat. That would make sense. So we've called him Litten. And because of Pokemon, watching Pokemon, Logan treats that cat with utmost care, like no tomorrow. He is so gentle with animals and things. And I've asked him, I was like, why are you so gentle with, like, your grandparents' dog and the cats and things? And he's like, well, Ash is gentle with Pikachu, so I've got to be gentle with my animals too. I was like, holy crap. Like, it's actually taught him to care for animals. And it's just like, if us adults can like push our kids into a fandom that, well, not push, but like inspire them to be in a fandom that can teach them those sort of goals, hell fucking yeah, let's do it. Fucking let's go. Like, it's great.
Amazing. Oh, that's actually really cool. I would love to have a pet named after a Pokemon because we was talking about it as well because I'm so bad whenever I see something on TikTok and I'm just like, yes, this needs to be a thing because like I'm the same. I'm like ADHD and I'm just like, oh, this needs to be a thing. So I've like I saw something called like a calling duck and I was saying to my wife, I was like, can we get a duck? Like, it's gonna sound really stupid, but can we please like get a duck? And I saw a video of it and she's like, yeah, you can call it a duck. And so she goes like, yeah, sure, we can get a duck. And I'm like, I'm naming it Quaxley. I'm naming it Quaxley. And I swear to God, no one can change my mind.
Oh, that's hilarious. Do you know what? If you ask my son what is the stupidest thing on Pokemon, he'll tell you that Golduck isn't gold. That's what my son says. If you say, no, if you ask Logan that's it. What Pokemon has the dumbest name? He'll say Golduck because Golduck's not gold. I was like, that's a fair comment, boy. So yeah, like when it comes to Twitch and you're doing all your Pokemon stuff and everything, do you play the games as well? Like, do you stream like playing the games like when they come out and stuff?
Yeah, whenever obviously Pokemon want to drop their newest games and stuff, I always end up just playing it on stream because it's a mixture. It's like, of course, everybody's looking at the new thing that's out, and I also want to play it, and I'm not gonna wait. Gonna get it straight away, and I might as well live the best of both worlds and stream it and play it at the same time. So normally, whenever they do like drop something new, I try and get there as fast as I can. Obviously, I can't like. I'm not gonna blow out the bank because obviously games nowadays are just like an arm and a leg
Stupid
all the
price,
time.
bro.
It's
Price.
It's so crazy, but whenever I get the opportunity to, I 100% try and get there as fast as I can, especially with like Pokemon stuff because it's so nice to get like a new region, new Pokemon, like a new game in general. It's always like it's so nice to go through.
So, as of recording this episode, the next game we're getting is Legends ZA. What's your thoughts on that?
I was so excited. I was absolutely so excited. And weirdly enough, I did it's so crazy. It's like the most nonchalant TikTok I've ever done. And it's just basically me jumping in my chair for 5 seconds saying like, we've got Gen 6 back. And it was like it racked up like 20k views in like 5 minutes. And I'm just like, I just like a guy I've just said I'm excited for Megas again.
Yeah. No, literally, that's why I'm excited, because out of all the gimmicks they've done, I think Megas is the one that not only worked well, but it even was cool in the anime, and stuff like this. It was one of the better written, points as well, not only as a gimmick, but as a story point as well. Like when Ash gets Lucario to Mega Evolve, it was like just one of the coolest scenes ever, and it's just,
100%.
like absolutely awesome. And like the fact that we're going back to that, and there's newer Pokemon since then. There's Pokemon that should have got Mega Evolutions but didn't, and things like this. There are Pokemon that don't have any evolutions at all, or need an evolution. It's like, hey, give that Pokemon a Mega instead. Then give that Pokemon some love and attention. When it comes when it comes to the new game and Megas, who are you hoping gets a Mega?
I was just about to say, I really want Megas for anyone that's past Gen 6, because that was when obviously Megas were like the thing.
Same.
And then Gen 7 onwards, they didn't do it anymore. So I'm really hoping they give it to Gen 7 to 9 Mons. And like more than anything, if they did do that for 7 to 9, 100% Mousehold. Like Mousehold just has to be the Mega. Like I just want a whole army of mouses swarming together to form one giant like mecha mouse and just be like, this is the best Mega to go for.
I saw someone designing Megas, and they drew one for him, but it was like I don't know how to explain it. Have you ever watched James Cameron's Avatar?
Blue one?
Or the blue people.
Yes.
So in the first film where you got like the guys in those suits, like they kind of like sit in those big ass suits. I saw someone draw a Mega where it's that, but for the mouse Pokemon. Like you've got one in the middle, but like the mouse are like all clinging onto each other into like a big suit thing. I was like, that is weird and goofy, but if they do that, that'd be absolutely kind of cool.
That fits so well.
It does.
That's like my one like biggest hope for a Mega. Like I'm not fussed. Like I think for getting Megas back, like I'm a huge Gengar fan. Gengar is by far like my favorite Pokemon. I even have him
He's
like
my
tattooed
favorite
on my
ghost
arm.
type. He's my favorite ghost type. He's my literally. I love Gengar so much.
On me.
Like to the point, I've got a Gengar plushie. I've got Gengar on my poster. To the point now, because like my son is so good at buying presents for people. Like when it comes to birthdays and Christmases, if you sit with my son and go, right, we need to get this person a present, he's on point. Whenever my fiance will talk to him about getting me my birthday presents and stuff, Logan always goes, can we get him something new with Gengar? Because he knows that I love Gengar so much. Like in when Ash got his Gengar, obviously Gengar got abandoned and stuff. It was one of those storylines. Like Logan actually kept on looking at me like, Daddy, it's okay. Like, like I'm sure someone's gonna catch him. Like looking at me like, I'm fine. I'm okay. But because it's Gengar, my son was like, it's okay. Gengar's not gonna be alone forever. It's okay. He like that at me. It was great.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah. So I just love Gengar so much. He's such a cool Pokemon.
Yeah, no, Gengar is by far like my favorite. I have him like tattooed on my arm. So like seeing that I get to have Mega Gengar back is just like a dream come true for me.
See, I'm currently looking at I'm looking at the Galar region Pokedex for a second, kind of looking at like what sort of Pokemon there would be like quite a cool Mega, because like it would be rather intriguing to see. I don't know, like okay, so in the last Legends game, we got 3 random starters put together from different generations, and obviously their final evolution had new typings. What would be your like, dream new trio? If you could like just pick one grass, one water, one fire, and put them together, like what would your picks be?
There's a lot to pick from, though. I know everyone was saying like, "Oh, there's like these 3 are always together in like the trailers, so maybe it's them." For me though, I would love someone from Gen 2 because I feel like Gen 2 has just kind of been put on the sideline for like way too long now. So I would
Agreed,
love
110% agreed. I could agree with that completely.
because I know we got Cyndaquil for Legends on the last one. I'd love to see like maybe Totodile. I feel like Totodile's not been seen
Yes.
that much regularly. And then for Fire and Grass, oh gosh. I'm assuming they might do I want to say a Gen 5, so like maybe Snivy.
Oh no, that'd be kind of cool to see Superior as a new evolution, new type. That'd be kind of interesting.
I always thought if they was going to give Snivy an extra typing, it would have been Fairy. So I always would have thought like Fairy Grass Superior would have been a thing.
That would be interesting.
Then for the Fire type, I actually have no idea because if they're running around with Mega Evolutions, I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be someone that doesn't have a Mega, and that's like really slim. But they might also just do a I don't know. I want to say someone from Gen 4. I think maybe like Chimchar from Gen 4 might also be the next one as well.
Do you think there's a possibility that we'll get a starter Pokemon from like after Gen 6?
I wouldn't put it past me, to be fair, because they did Rowlet in Legends Arceus as well. So I wouldn't put it past me. Because then that means we'd also probably get like Scorbunny or like Grookey or Sobble as well. But I think if it was anything, it would probably be Scorbunny, since like it's based on Gen 6 was based on France as well. And since you've got like the footballer, I'm pretty sure football is like really popular over there. So I wouldn't put it past me that they do something like on top of that as well. If not, then definitely have like Scorbunny running around in the wild.
So I think I'm looking at the Pokedex now for the Galar region, and I think one of the Pokemon that I'm like, do you know what, that'd actually be kind of cool to see with a Mega is Phalanx. I think that's how you pronounce his name. The Pokemon that's on a row. Like if that got a Mega, that'd be so cool to see.
Oh, it'd be so amazing. I think. Because I always say Phalanx. I know everyone's gonna like roast me on this, but I always say Phalanx because the way
honestly,
I always thought about
I get confused on how to pronounce it. Is it Phalanx, Phalanx? I don't actually know. So
apparently it's Phalanx, but I always say Phalanx because they fall in line with each other. So I just thought, well, they link together and they fall in, so it's Phalanx. But everyone says Phalanx. I'm like, okay, sure. But yeah, like that was my that was like one of my favorites from Gen 8 as well. I remember when I played Sword and Shield and I saw him, I was just like, you are on my team and you are not leaving my team under any circumstances.
Yeah. See, I have one Pokemon that I wish to get a Mega, and I actually have so much. I've gotten backlash for saying this Pokemon, and that's Turtonator.
Mega Turtonator would be really cool.
I didn't like Turtonator in the game. He was strong, but he's alright. It's actually the anime that got me liking Turtonator. The way that like Kawaii has Turtonator, it's like, oh my god, he's actually kind of cool. And like now that I've seen him in the anime, I'm like, oh, he needs a Mega. He needs a Mega. Give him one.
Yeah, he needs something. Like he just needs something, like a new special move or a Mega or something. He just needs something for him because he's great. But like all the dragons that came out of Gen 7 was just like. They overshadow him so badly.
So, what, in your opinion, is the best gimmick for Pokemon? Is it Megas, or do you think there's a gimmick that beats the Mega Evolution?
I'd probably say I would also probably say Megas because I think Megas is really cool. Like it puts an added extra feature, like outside of what it does for the game. It's just really cool to just kind of see an extension of Mons that can go like even further. I think if Mega Evolutions was never a thing, I do really like the gimmick of terrestrializing from like a mechanic standpoint. Just being able to just switch your typing just on a whim is kind of crazy.
I do like that. The only problem I have with it is there are certain Pokemon that do not look right with the crystal like crowns on their head. There are some Pokemon that just look really weird.
The crowns are definitely not the most defining feature of it.
No, like it's so random. Like it's so weird. I do like I love the way they do it in the game where like, you know, it's like a crystal ball thing, and I like the animations to it and stuff. It's just there are certain Pokemon that just look goofy as all fuck. Yeah, no, I think Megas is the better one. Cause Emus were cool, but they're better in the anime because they make it such a big scene. You know, it's kind of like watching Goku use Kamehameha or Naruto using Rasengan. It's like it brings that sort of feeling to it. My son absolutely loses his mind if Ash isn't in Alola and he's using his Z move, like when he went for the championship and he fought Leon and stuff. Whenever Ash pulled out his Z band, my son lost his mind about it. Like we got so excited to see it. Like, yes, come on, use 10 million volt Thunderbolt, do it. Like, you know, but in the gameplay, it was like, all right, yeah, that kind of exists. That's cool. But Megas in anime and in game, it's really cool to see. And I'm really glad they went back. And like, I remember when that trailer first came out, watching reactors, watching people on Twitch, everyone just lost their marbles over the fact that, you know, this means Megas are coming back, you know.
It was nuts.
Like, and it's a good generation. It's a decent generation as well. So like, it's cool that we're diving back in. Apparently we're gonna get more explanation on like specific characters as well, which is really cool because like, you know, there's a lot of storylines that kind of get left in the game. So it'd be nice to like dive back in and learn more and explore more, which is really cool. What did you think of Legends Arceus? Was you a fan of that, or was you like not so keen because like the gameplay is different and stuff, isn't it? So
yeah, I was on the fence for a while, but I'm like, I'm always. He was like, well, to be fair, I'm not always, but like with the last two games that came out before Scarlet and Violet, I was a bit like, I didn't really agree with it. Like, I like the gameplay of Legends Arceus. I like the whole story of it. That's just like you've got transported there. Nobody knows anything to do with Pokemon there, so you're just kind of building everything up. I think the thing that got me at the end was like the last fight, because it's like the jump in difficulty was like ungodly amounts of difficult.
yeah, it's like you went from playing The Sims to playing a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Because obviously, obviously, spoilers if anyone's not played Legends Arceus yet. Like it was the whole thing when it's just like you go up to you beat the story, you go all the way up, and you see like Volo at the end. You're just like, okay, cool. Like I guess we fight Volo. Like it obviously looks like he's Cynthia's ancestor. It makes sense. You fight the champion's ancestor. Goes full tilt, gets Giratina. And you're just like, okay, well, all right, let's give it a go. He's doing some nasty stuff. You beat all of his 16. You're like, all right, cool, I won. He brings out Giratina, and you're like, okay, seventh Pokemon, annoying, but we can make do. And you can't even heal in between. I think that's what got me more than anything is that you can't even heal or change your team in between. It's literally like fight Volo, skip cutscene, go to Giratina, and it was like, okay, cool. Well, we've got through Giratina. It was a bit annoying, but that's fine. And then it was like. It's like, this isn't even my final form. Giratina again, but it's in its more stronger form. And you're just like, so technically, I've got to fight 8 Pokemon back to back, no healing. And then on top of that, Giratina just straight up breaks the mechanic that I've spent the last 40 hours learning. And it was so insane.
Yeah, like, so I feel they're gonna do something similar with ZA because I'm glad they've made a difference between the main Pokemon like kind of run and they've always done spin-offs. You know, we've got Rangers, Mystery Dungeons, and all sorts of stuff. They've always done spin-offs, but I think with Legends, I think they're gonna keep that in. I think they're gonna keep it so you know you go through the game and then the boss is just gonna be a tank and a half. You know, and like there's been some hard bosses throughout Pokemon, sure, but like this is gonna be like I said, Sims to Dark Souls in a click. You know, it's gonna jump to that sort of thing, and I'm fine with that because that means when a Legends game comes out, you know it's going to be like that, and you look forward to seeing okay, what Pokemon are they going to pick to make it so it's a jump. And because they're introducing Megas again, I have a funny feeling the final boss will be like Pokemon. Yeah, you've beaten me. Oh look. Oh wait. By the way, this Pokemon has a Mega form, bitch. You know, and then fuck you up the Mega. Like I have a funny feeling it'll be like that.
Yeah, I'm on that same boat as well. It's like now that I know what to expect from a Legends game, if they do the same thing, I'm not going to be as like, what the hell is going on? But I have a feeling it's going to be more or less the same vibe where it's like you fight like kind of a champion vibe player, and then they kind of like just go, oh, psych, you remember Zygarde? Yeah, here's Mega Zygarde.
Yeah, and it like so you you redesign shinies. Do you actually like draw your own Pokemon? Like, have you ever made your own like OCs or anything like this? Have you ever thought of like making your own regions? Has that ever been a thought process?
I really want to. I'm still learning to like draw as I go. And like I'm trying to draw like human models, and obviously going from like human models to animal models is like very different. So I'm taking my time with it. I've already basically made my own and thought of like different Pokemon to include with like different abilities and stuff like that. That's not in the game already. Yeah, I've got like my whole region kind of set. I based it off I originally based it off Italy, but that was about like 2 years ago now, so I might rechange the whole region. But there's some concepts that I do want to keep. But yeah, until I feel like I'm like actually there with drawing or like get there enough, I'll like probably put more emphasis onto it. But for now, I think like I'm just doing the first basic stage starter mons and seeing where like that goes from there.
So you said that you went from humans to like animals and like Pokemon. Then I was the other way around. So as a kid, I was always a fan of Digimon, Pokemon, Bakugan. Hence why I have Ozdemon. I'm making my own monster tamer like idea on YouTube. Well, it eventually will be there. Just working out the kinks. But like I've always, again, not a great artist, but I've always drawn like my own version of Digimon and like my own Pokemon and etc etc. And so like me trying to draw people does not work. Like I'm the complete other end of it. Like I if I ever draw a person, and I'm omitting this, I don't care because I watched a video on YouTube that helped me out a lot. I trace a mannequin first, and that's how I draw my people. And I don't care how sad that sounds.
No, I've heard the same. I've had the same advice. I'm just like I don't care. I will get there. I've done the work. I will get there, and eventually I can do it without the mannequin. Just stop judging me.
Well, see, I was actually like really cautious about doing an art channel because again, I'm not a great artist at all. Like, if you look at my art compared to like other people, I'm nowhere like if art was an age, I'm like 1, where everyone else is like 50 something. If it was a level or something. But I don't know if you know who Subjectively is on YouTube. He's a big Pokemon artist and he does like all different types of like Pokemon stuff. Like he's done his own regions and everything. He's really good at drawing. He did like a video of kind of like not exactly hint like how to draw, but like how to do Pokemon regions and things. And the very first point he makes is don't try to draw in Pokemon art styles because that will trip you up like hell. If you can draw in the Pokemon art style, crack on. But don't sit there and bully yourself because you can't draw in the Pokemon art style. And because he made this a huge point, I'm sat there thinking, okay, I don't need to beat myself up then. Like, I don't need to, like, this guy's, like, easily in the 1,000. He's got, like, 300 and something K. His Pokemon videos get in the millions to, like, views and everything. And he's sat there going, stop trying to draw in the Pokemon art style, it's fine. And I was like, okay, I think I've just found it, how to create your own Pokemon. And literally the first point he makes is just don't try to, like, if you can, awesome. If you want to do that, great. But if you're just trying to make Pokemon and that's what you want to do, it's fine. It doesn't need to look like the Pokemon art style. Because I have drawn one Pokemon, which I was really proud of, and you don't really see a lot of its body. It's hidden. It holds a fireball in it's a little lizard who kind of like lives in a fireball, but it also like its head, its 2 front paws, and its tail are out of the fireball, and it hugs it. And when it evolves, the fireball becomes stronger, and then it's my fire star. And then the third stage is just like a big lizard holding a small fireball in its hand, and that's its power source. So like what protects it becomes its weapon. And the Pokedex says that you can't put your hand in the fireball because it's as strong as the sun, like it's its own sun basically. And it doesn't look great. It's not the best drawing ever. But as soon as I saw that video, which is only like a month ago, it only came out like about a month ago. As soon as I saw that, I was like, right, I don't need to like worry about it. I can like draw Pokemon and not worry about how it looks and things. So it's all good. So like it's kind of like a vote of confidence for me, in a sense. But like, yeah, I think you would be really good at doing a Pokemon region of some kind?
I literally lose myself in like hours watching people do like their own different Pokemon. Like I remember I was watching one, it was just like, oh, what if like what if there was every form of Rotom for every typing? And I'm just like, oh gosh, I could stay here for hours.
Dude, honestly, I watch, like, again, in HD, I watch all different types of, like, content, but I think watching Pokemon, like, not just Pokemon, Digimon and stuff, but watching people make their own tamers, like, sort of monsters and stuff, for sure is something that I'll watch all the time. It's almost like an addiction. Like, it gets bad. But, yeah, like, so, like, when it comes to me drawing this apocalyptic, like, world of Pokemon, I'm actually tracing the Pokemon, and then I'm going off of that, because I'm not going to sit here and try drawing Squirtle from scratch. It ain't going to look like Squirtle, you know? It's not going to work, I can guarantee you now. But like my Bulbasaur's a ghost type, and the lore behind the Bulbasaur I absolutely love, and I was really proud of myself. And again, that video just blew up like nuts, and so I'm really glad it did. And again, the artwork isn't great; it doesn't look fantastic. But again, you know, sometimes it isn't how it looks. But like, I think the way that you're determined to do this shinies run that you're doing over 1,000 Pokemon, which, by the way, I still think you're nuts for doing. I respect it, but I still think you're nuts for doing. You know, I think you could, like, eventually, if you can do your own region, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that might be on the list for whenever I finish it. Because I was saying to my officer, because like, I'm doing this for a while. Her first question was like, all right, cool. You know what you're doing for now. You know what you're doing for like the near future. What are you doing when this finishes? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like I'm like, oh no. I think definitely.
Yeah, you're just there like, don't get me to think about the future. I've got 1,000 Pokemon to go through. What would be?
No, I think definitely I'd start looking into actually making my own region when the shiny redesigns are all like finished.
What would be your what would be your gimmick? Would you go with Megas, I'm assuming?
I think
if you had a gimmick.
I'm not sure. I've not really thought about a gimmick because I've more so focused on like unique abilities or unique like special moves that the mons would get. I've not essentially thought about a unique gimmick because I thought like change it up and try and make something new because I didn't want to go like, oh, just like throw in Megas or like throw in Terrestrialization or anything like that. I thought like try something new, try something like different. But I think when I get there and actually think about it a bit more, I'll probably be like, yeah, it'll probably be something that like won't change Mon fully, but it'll be enough where it's like this is a cool gimmick that will like change the mechanics of how like the game plays and stuff.
Yeah, see, I with this apocalyptic idea, I'm just redesigning each Pokemon, so I'm not going to add anyone new. I'm not going to add any new Pokemon to it. I have been asked, you know, because it's an apocalypse that I'm doing, it's, you know, nuclear warfare's happened. Wouldn't there be new Pokemon? I was like thinking, yeah, I guess so. I guess a new Pokemon would sprout from this. So I guess that is a good point. But I don't think I'm gonna. But if I ever did my own Pokemon region, I think I'd want... I don't know, I don't think I'd want to touch something that's already been done. I think, you know, like you said, maybe like come up with something new or like focus on the fact there's like new abilities and stuff instead. If I do something though, I'd have to go down the route of like, you know how like Mega Evolution, there has to be a bond between like the Pokemon trainer and the Pokemon for it to be successful and stuff like this. I'd have to do it like that because I like that, because Pokemon obviously is all about, you know, capturing Pokemon, training them, leveling them up and things. So I'd have to go down that route, I think. But so when it comes to your Pokemon on Twitch and stuff, what can people expect to see? Because I know that you play the game. Like, what other stuff? Because I think I've seen you do. I know it. I don't even know what to call it, but like you get like a grid and it tells you like, you know, ghost type, and you've got to type in and like guess which Pokemon are in the grid and stuff. Like I've seen you do that a couple times. But like, what sort of things can people expect to see if they come to your Twitch?
That is that one was a Pokedoku. That's what I do for the start of my stream.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
I do that. I like the start of my streams. That's not like the whole stream itself. It's like a little nice bit to get kind of warmed up into it. Because for a long time now for streaming, I did nuzlocking. So it was like going into a Pokemon game. In this case, it was like a fan made Pokemon game, and you'd only every first Pokemon that you get on every row is the only one you can catch. And if any of your Pokemon faint at any point in the game, like you can't use that anymore. And if you lose all of your mons, and you can't heal inside of battle either, so you can either heal before or after, but never during. You can only use like berries or like held items like leftovers or stuff like that. And if you lose like all of your Pokemon in one go, like you white out, even if you've got Pokemon in the box, you reset the whole game and you start from like jump again.
Wow.
It's rough, and because right now I'm doing one called Run and Bun. I know like anyone who like plays Nuzlocke obviously knows about like Run and Bun. It's like the hardest one right now. And last time I tried it, we got pretty far. Like that was like I got my furthest attempt in the last one. But I think now realistically, because I'm putting more emphasis into VGC, because luckily for me, there's actually a place that does VGC really close to me now. So I actually have more opportunity to build up VGC. So I'm kind of pulling Nuzlocking down a little bit. I'm not completely stopped, but like it might be now like once every like week. But now like I'm focusing more on VGC, so whenever everyone does come to see me, you'll be seeing like team concepts, team builds. We'll just be talking about like random results in tournaments, even if you're not involved in like competitive VGC or anything like that. Like just talking about Pokemon in general, or just about anything in general, would be like it's an amazing time, and we just goof around. And I'm not going to go too serious unless we like go into a tournament or anything like that. I'm not going to focus too much on like, oh, I need to do this, that, and the other. It's just going to be just a fun vibe time if you've got like a few hours to spare and just want to chill on your desk or on your phone and just have a voice in the background. That's what you're expecting. I will be that guy. I'll be that nice voice in your ear that will just chill and just crack jokes with everyone and just have like a fun, peaceful time away from whatever your busy day is.
Yeah, see, I respect that. I like that a lot. I've just sent you a message on Discord. You don't have to check them out if you don't want to, but I've just sent you a couple pictures that I've drawn. So there's a couple of variants of Pokemon that already exist. There's my Firestar Pokemon that I told you about, and then an evolution for Love Disc and Dodrio. So
I was gonna say, I am a fan of the Love Disc.
So the concept there is a broken heart. And the reason why it's brown, the reason why it's brown underneath is because some people who have their heart broken never fix it. They just become cold and like stone cold, and they like block themselves off. That's why half of it's kind of like rocky almost. It's kind of like the concept of sometimes you don't fix your broken heart, sometimes you block yourself off, and you come like cold stone and like distant.
I am an absolute fan of the Love Disc. I'm like looking at all of them, like I can't stop looking at the Love Disc. I'm like, if Love Disc ever had an evolution, like it needs to be split. It's like one where it's like cherished and full of love, and the other one just needs to be heartbroken, just like that. It looks really good. I love that concept.
Honestly, dude, I really like that. I might do that actually. Give it a split Evo where like if like Love Disc is friendship's really high or something with your trainer or something, it'll evolve in one way, but if you don't, then it evolves into something on the I can do something with that. So I may actually do that. I might give it a split and turn one into like a more of a like a in the love sense, because I believe that Evo is water, and I want to say it's dark type. I want to say I'd make it water and dark type, so I could make it like the split Evo, like water and I don't know, fairy type or something. I could change it. But yeah, so the Squirtle is a steel type, and the reason why it looks like that is because the Apocalypse, the variants are in my Apocalypse. So Squirtles became a source of food for humans, so they started attaching metal to themselves to protect themselves. Charmanders became lonely, and they became poison type, and the reason why its hand looks like a Mega Charizard is because they are so alone, they'll form their hands to look like other Pokemon and make puppet shows for themselves. And then the Bulbasaurs all died out, and the ghosts of the Bulbasaurs didn't have anywhere to live, so they haunt leftover Pokeballs, hence why half of it's in a Pokeball. Mew is no longer lovable and, fun-loving. It hates humans because, nuclear warfare. So it lives in the clouds and it absorbed so much. It got so angry, it started creating lightning storms. And then because, what you give, you get. So because it was causing so much lightning storms, it just became an electric type.
Right.
The I can never remember which one it is. Is it Villite? No. What's the ice
No,
cream Pokemon called?
no. I think it's Vanillite, because,
Yeah. So similar concept. People kind of forgot about it, and obviously, ice cream isn't a thing anymore. It's a nuclear apocalypse. So this Pokemon wanders around playgrounds, old school buildings, anywhere kids used to be, and cry, and you can hear them crying from miles away. And hence why it looks like it's melting and dripping away.
I
And
love that. I
then
love the melted ice cream as well. The melted ice cream's so cool.
yeah, and then the little fox thing that's holding the fireball, that's my fire starter I told you about. That's hugging the fireball, and it
Yeah.
kind of lives in it. So yeah, I just like to show you. I don't
He's
get
so-
I don't get to show my Pokemon to many people because not everyone's into Pokemon. So
These are really cool. I really like these. Definitely love Disc and Squirtle. I love the lore behind Squirtle. It's so cool.
I'm not trying to turn all of the Pokemon into suppressed dark types and stuff because the Vanillite and Mew are dark, and Vanillite's also Ghost now. But some of the Pokemon have worked well with the fact that there's an apocalypse. I'll show you my Rowlet, which my son adores. This is my son's favorite one. Rowlet now meditates in forests, and they become psychic type, and it works really well for them, and they actually help people traverse through forests by giving them images in their minds. They can kind of send you mental images to get out of these massive abandoned forests and stuff. So they're now psychic types instead of grass types. Hence why. And in the anime, Rowlet's always asleep. Always asleep. So I worked on that as well. It started sleeping in the forest, but sleeping became meditation because it hid away and stuff like this and became psychic.
Hey, I see. That's actually pretty cool. Oh, that's such a cool lore.
Can I just say I've never had this reaction from my artwork before? I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of liking your reaction. It's great.
Because I'm just looking, I'm geeking out because I'm just oh, these look so cool, and half of these would look so good as just an evolution on their own.
Well, just let you know, you've kind of locked yourself in now because one, we've now been talking for an hour. Two, we get along all hell tomorrow, and three, yeah, you're just gonna be the person go, hey, dude, I drew this.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
But so the Star Trio and Mew are on my art channel, but the thing is, with my art channel, I do draw other things as well. Power Rangers, different weapons. I did a video. It took me so long to edit. Jesus fucking Christ! I drew a hone edge for every type.
Ooh, that's actually really cool.
So with the hone edge for every type, I actually made some of them reference things. So I don't know if you know what Kingdom Hearts is.
I love Kingdom Hearts.
So the fairy type's a Keyblade. So the fighting type is a Knuckle Duster, but it's bladed because in Naruto there's a character who has Knuckle Dusters, but they're bladed and things like this. The grass type is a massive Shuriken because in Digimon, the armor Digievolutions quite often link with. There's one Digievolution that quite often links with grass, ninjas, and Shurikens and things like this. I managed, and it took me so long to edit because I did all 17 types in one video. It's 40 minutes long, and it's it took me so long to do. I honestly, when I uploaded that, I think I actually cried. I'm not gonna lie to you. I honestly sat there oh my god, can't believe I just did this. I can't believe I did it. It was mental. But that took that it was something that I was proud of, but I was so thankful that it was done. But that was nuts to do. One thing people tell me, because like I said, I write stories and fan fictions, I upload them on YouTube, is I have two business partners that also do the same thing, and they'll tell if you ask them, list one thing about Thai, they'll always say my mind runs a mile a minute. Because someone will come up to me and say one specific story point, and I've got you a whole story plot. Like one of my buddies will come up to me and go, "Dude, I'm stuck with this. I have this like issue with this story I'm writing," and I've literally given them like 8 solutions in 5 minutes. So when it comes to these sort of like art videos, it's absolute bananas of like all the stuff that I can come up with. Some of them are a bit weird. I didn't want to do all weapons, so like ghost type's actually just a doll, a possessed doll, because
right.
in Kingdom Hearts 4, Kingdom Hearts 3, sorry, there's a Heartless you fight, but it possesses a doll in the Toy Story world. So I was like, what if Honedge, because Honedge possesses a sword, that's the whole point of Honedge. So I was like, what if the ghost type just possessed a doll? What if it just wanted attention? What if it didn't want to be a weapon? So I made it just possess a doll. One of them is a needle. The poison type's a needle, like a doctor's needle. It actually has liquid in it as well. And like,
That's
because
cool.
so like the two things I did was they all had to have the same eye as Honedge. That's on the sword, the hilt of the sword. I had to make sure all of them had the same eye, and then if I could, this wasn't a major thing, but you know how the Honedge has got like that ribbon that kind of acts like a hand sometimes.
Yeah, cool little,
Some
like,
of them
ribbon.
had to have that. Some of them had to have that little ribbon. Not all of them did, but some of them. But all of them had to have the eye. I don't have them on my PC. I thought I did. I'll send them to you later so you can see.
Oh yeah,
But like,
absolutely.
my mind just goes off on one, and I get a bit crazy. But
I get that feeling so badly. Like there's times where I'm like popping off about like, oh, this Pokemon can do like this, that, and the other. Or if I've made a team and I'm like really proud of the team that I made, and I kind of want to like talk about it. And it's just like, oh, my team does like all these really cool things. It's like super cool, but I just kind of sitting there going like, yeah, okay. I don't know what any of these do, and I'm like, basically they just kick everyone's ass and just like, sick.
yeah, it is. Have you seen the new anime, the Pokemon Horizons? Is it called? Where Ash
Yeah.
isn't in it. What's your thoughts on that?
I saw, I think the first 2 episodes. I watched it with my eldest daughter. She's obviously she loves watching like Pokemon and stuff like that. We watched the first 2 episodes, and then as ADHD does, we just walked off and did other things. But for the 2 episodes we watched, it seemed like it was going pretty well. Like I heard there was like a shiny Rayquaza in there that she meets, and there was like apparently it's like really kicking off recently. I'm probably gonna go back to it and just give it like a watch through because it sounds like it's a lot of fun. I don't mind the new character. It was a lot to take here that Ash wasn't coming back. It was kind of a lot to be like, he's the Pokemon guy. He's
Yeah.
the guy on the TV. So hearing that like he's gonna be like been down as like the main character of the show, it was a lot to take in, but I was just like, I'd never hated the new character because she's not Ash. It's just like she's obviously her own person. Everyone has like their own journey and things like that. So I was like, let's see how she does and kind of just settle in. And assuming that I've not heard any backlash from her character in like the whole community, it seems like she's doing very well.
So, me and my son are completely up to date. We're really excited about the new series. You are right. It's a Black Rayquaza, and that's actually one of the main story points of the season. Is that Black Rayquaza? He's actually a big focus of the story. It's one of those things where we're loving it. And obviously, my son's 5. He's gonna like Pokemon no matter what. But as someone who grew up on Pokemon, I was born in '98. So like the first game that I played was, I think I borrowed my brother's Pokemon Yellow. I think because I was old enough. So like I've grown up with Pokemon from the get go. We've watched Pokemon. Like, I've always watched Pokemon and stuff. The only Pokemon games I haven't touched, and that's because I didn't have a 3DS, was Y and Z, and then X and Y, sorry, and Sun and Moon. I haven't played those games. I never had a 3DS. I really want them to port them over to Switch because they keep doing like Mario and Sonic and Zelda. I'm like, you have another really big franchise, by the way, Nintendo. You know, you remade Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, I
know.
know. I can safely say that like X and Y, it's not it's definitely not the hardest of the games. Like it's borderline disappointing. Like you get the megas and the new typing of like fairy, but I feel like Pokemon didn't really utilize them that well.
Yeah.
Like because normally you'd want like a new typing, you'd want whoever's running it to be strong. But the fairy type gym leader, she's like halfway into the game, and it's like she doesn't really get too much. And then the champion, I think everyone can safely say she's like the worst champion as well. So it's like X and Y is like really, really easy. I think like someone even says like you get Mega Lucario from like the very early on, and if you really want to, you can just blast through the entire game with just Mega Lucario.
Damn, fair.
Sun and Moon is great though. Sun and Moon is absolutely amazing. I tried the Ultra games. I didn't finish it because it felt like too repetitive from the first one. But a lot of people said like, oh, if like it changes near the end, I just didn't have the patience to get near the end. But Sun and Moon was great, and a lot of people say Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is a lot better. Like if he was ever gonna get a 3DS from somewhere and try Gen 7, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would say the Ultra games would be like a lot better. Apparently, Ultra Necrozma is like Legends Volo type of hard.
Fair. So my love for Sun and Moon comes from the anime because that's the current season me and my son are watching. And we're almost done, I think. And like I really want them to port them over. Switch just doesn't do it for some random reason. They just don't, or like at all. It's really annoying. But like when it comes to the new season, like the only thing, like it's weird, it's strange. Like it does feel. It's not because of Ash. It's nothing to do with Ash. I think it's the storytelling because Ash has always had a goal. Take away him wanting to be like the best, the best Pokemon trainer ever. Take away that, but I'm like talking about like gym leaders, the champions, beating Leon, the Elite Four, whatever the case may be. He's always had a goal in each season, which I think is why I find Alola a bit odd too, because he doesn't have really a major goal in the season of Alola, kinda.
Yeah.
But like this one does have a goal. But it's not in the games. It's not in the it's never been done before. So like the major plot is there's a legendary Pokemon trainer who lived like a long time ago, and he had 6 amazing Pokemon, and it turns out that the girl and then the boy who comes into it a couple of episodes in, they both have some form of connection to these Pokemon. So they make it a thing of, hey, let's go find all 6 Pokemon. One of them being this shiny Rayquaza. One of them's like a Lapras who's got like a big scar across its face, which is really cool. I really like that episode that Lapras is introduced. But yeah, the bad guys are really cool. They're actually bad guys as well, which I really like. They're not like Team Rocket or like Team Galactic, where like there's a group of people with a goal. These bad guys are actual dicks. They're actual bad people.
Just bad for the sake of being bad.
Yeah. Like there's a whole group of them as well. You're not always seeing the same like 2 people. There's like at least 5 or 6, and they swap around quite often.
Right.
And it's really cool as well. Like there's a proper operation going. They all want the girl because the girl's important. Well, no, sorry, her necklace is important. But like there's one guy with a Ceruledge. He's got the blue fired one. That's his main Pokemon, and like he's always got a feud with. There's a guy who, because there's a whole team of characters. You're not just following like 3 or 4. There's a whole ship that flies around the regions and that you follow, and the ship not only has like a whole crew that you invest in, they also house like a whole bunch of just wild Pokemon that live on the ship, and you get invested in them as well. And like it's absolutely mental, and so it's so different. That's why I'm weirded out about it. It's like this is so unique. It's weird, but I'm low key loving it.
Like so out of like the ordinary of what everyone like grew up with.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like because like Ash for the most part, follows the games. You know, hey, there's a whole new set of gyms. All right, Ash wants to go and get all the gym badges. You know, he wants to beat the Elite Four. You know, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, after the whole Eternatus thing, you beat Leon. That happens for Ash. You know, things like this. Like Ash, in a sense, follows the game, where this doesn't do the games at all. You know, if they did a game that kind of followed suit, that'd be really interesting to see. You know, you have to catch these 6 or 7 whatever Pokemon. That'd be kind of interesting to do.
I
But
thought it would have been like a lot easier to at least do Scarlet and Violet for like the anime, because it's like even in the game there's not like a set path. You can kind of do whatever you want in like any order that you want.
yeah.
Do you want to whack a guy? Wait. Do you want to whack a dude? Wait. Do you want to go whacked up? Wait. Is there a guy loitering in front of your store and you want to whack him off? Wait. There's a guy in your basement trying to uncover your family secrets and you want to whack him on the table? Wait. Is there a guy outside your house screaming, come back to me, and you just want to like whack him in the front yard? Wait. Do you have something special that you get whacked? Wait. Do you have an itch that needs to be taken care of and that guy needs to get whacked? Wait. Wait a minute. Like, hold on. Wait. What are we trying to talk about? Oh, yeah. If you need something whacked off real good, call Mutants for Hire.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be like so much easier to kind of just get like, you know, the main character, she's in Paldea and she's just kind of like running around doing extra little pieces, and like for those for that team of 6 it could just been like random of the Titan Pokemon, because it makes sense that the Titan Pokemon would be like the legendary team.
See, I think that's also what else I find really weird is that they've only done a handful of episodes. They're like episode 20 now or something. Well, the dubbed version, obviously, in Japan, they got like at least 30 to 40 episodes already. It takes them a while to dub it, obviously, which is fair. But like, they've only now just gone to Paldea.
Oh,
Where we're
right.
at,
So
we're up to date. They're not even in Paldea half the time. They've gone to Gala once, I think. They do go to they're in Paldea for a while, but they've only now just gotten to Paldea. Like it is not Paldea like set at all. Like I said, they've got a big airship, and like the air they go places all the time, which is nuts. They do have all 3 of the Scarlet and Violet starter Pokemon, which is really cool. And it's not one thing I like about it as well. You know how in Ash's journeys, Ash will have the starter Pokemon, or he'll have like 1 or 2, and then one of his teammates will have one. When he's with Go had all 3. In this, the girl has one, her new friend, who it turns out he's important, has one, and then a 3rd character comes in who gets one as well. So each trainer has one of the starter Pokemon, so it's like the game in a sense. I like that. So like that's really cool. Well, look, my son likes it because he knows I do YouTube. Me and him actually have a YouTube channel together, and one of the main characters is a content creator. She live streams, and you see it often as well. She goes live.
Iono is such a sick trainer.
Like that I thought that was absolutely amazing as well. That there's a content creator and she's a live streamer, and it actually gets brought in all the time. I was like, yes.
I remember someone put on something the other day, and it was just like, the economy in Paldea is so low that all the gym leaders need a second job. And I looked at all of them like, oh my god, they're right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just odd. Like in a good way, it's different. That's why I'm finding it odd. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to sit down and watch it, 100% I recommend you do. It is really good. And it's like, it's not, I don't know. I guess we've had Ash for so long. I'm one of these people. People don't like me for certain. People don't like talking to me about certain fandoms because in my head, the the thing that made the fandom popular, so like Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Pokemon, Ash, stuff like this. I just grow to despise the thing that made the thing popular. Like in Mortal Kombat, Scorpion's one of my least favorite characters because he's the reason Mortal Kombat's popular. I like to go for the littler things. Like
Underdogs.
yeah, like no, because like people always ask me, "Oh, who's your favorite fire starter?" Yeah, Charizard's not even in my top 5 because Charizard is so overdone. Charizard is so overdone. I've made this point on TikTok so much. He has everything. He can do Z moves. He has he has 2 megas. He can Gigantamax. Stop it. We get it.
It's the golden child of Pokemon as well. I'm just like,
yeah.
he's had enough. All of his cards are like £50 minimum. We know he's popular. Give it to someone else.
Like Digimon, the first season is actually one of my not my least favorite, but like is the one that I haven't watched the most. I prefer O2 and Tamers over the first season because the first season's been done 1,000 times. I'm just one of these people. Like if something gets so big, like people, I go live on TikTok and people are like, "Oh, are you gonna play Black Myth Wukong?" And I'm no. And everyone's like, "Oh, you should. It's such a good game. Everyone's playing it." And I'm like, "You've just explained why I'm not gonna play it." Because everyone else, why the fuck? Like, I can't be asked. like no. Like, I'm just one of these people.
I fall in this really bad habit where it's just like I start playing things when everyone stops talking about it. Because like I'm still waiting to buy God of War Ragnarok, and everyone's like almost finished talking about it. I'm like, I'm not there yet. I'm still waiting because I'm just gonna get it when everyone stopped. When I stop seeing all the scenes on TikTok. Now I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna play it without like no interruptions.
Like honestly, just quickly before we dive into something else, God of War Ragnarok is a masterpiece. I cried several times. Okay, it's phenomenal. When you do get to play, let me know because we're gonna have to have some conversations. But like, so like when people say like, top 3, whatever, Charizard's not even on my list. Pikachu's not really on my list because they're just overdone, and it's just like, it gives a flying fuck. And I think another reason why I like Pokemon Horizons is because there is a Pikachu in it, but this Pikachu isn't Ash's Pikachu. And like he called the captain. He's not. His name is Captain. That's his nickname. Everyone calls him Captain. He's a captain of the ship, and he actually has a captain hat on and stuff. But like they did something really specific with this Pikachu. There's a whole like a flashback episode of like how this Pikachu did it, and it's like Ash never did that. It's really unique and everything. It's not even the guy's Pikachu. He just kind of like went, "Hey, do you want to come with me?" And the Pikachu went, "Yeah, all right," sort of thing. Like he doesn't even capture him, so it's like he just joined in. And it's like, "Yeah, cool, I'll just come aboard." And like I'm just like it. The Pokemon that are in it, there's is it Galarian Grimer? That is it Galar that Grimer's got the regional variant, or is it
Alola? I think.
Is it Alola?
Yeah, Alolan Grimer. Alolan Mud.
So, like, there's an Alolan Grimer that lives on the ship as well, which is really cool because we never really get to see the Alolan Grimer that much and things like this. So, like, it does bring in different Pokemon and do different things. Like, yeah, this is actually kind of cool. I'm glad other Pokemon get representation. Because, like, I found a list a little while ago of the Pokemon that have never been on the show. And I went through this list. I was like, how have these not ever been on the show? Like it was absolutely
at least
insane.
Like Grimer would have been on Team Rocket's team in Sun and Moon.
Yeah, like you'd think about it because obviously they used poison types, dark types. They use that sort of like that sort of regional typing with Pokemon quite often. You'd think they'd end up with at least the Alolan versions. But like, yeah, if you ever get a chance to watch it, I highly recommend you check it out.
It's definitely on my list.
So here you go. I found the list. Top 10 Pokemon that have never appeared on the anime. Just never got brought up. That was one that I was quite actually interested. Obviously, we had Dracofish and the other mix and match thing, but their counterparts never brought into it. Poltegeist has only now been brought into Pokemon Horizons.
But
It was never.
never in there before.
Nope. Bolt Hound was completely ditched. That was never brought up, which is funny because Bolt Hound was actually one of my main Pokemon going through the game.
Oh, Bolton's amazing.
Sneasler, the Hisuian Sneasel.
Yeah.
That was never brought up. Overquill was never brought into it. Porygon 2 and Porygon Z never turned up whatsoever.
I think that one makes more sense.
Yeah, but like it's weird to think there are Pokemon that have never been brought up in the anime, and the anime is huge. Like Ash was on. Ash is literally 1990 something. So like it was just mad to think that.
Crazy. I was so shocked to hear that Poltegeist wasn't there.
It's
like,
only now been brought into it. There's a whole episode where there's a whole episode where they're all on the ship, and the ship's like they're just flying through the air because it's like the ship's like it looks like a blimp sort of thing. And like they even have like a battle arena on it and stuff that they can train on and stuff. It's kind of cool. And there's a whole episode where the girl's I think it's a grandmother comes to visit on the ship or something, and she's got a specific teapot next to her, and she goes to pick it up, and her grandma's like, no, leave that alone. And she's like, oh, but I was gonna fill it for you, and she's like, no, it'll fill itself. And the girl's like, huh? What do you mean? So that's like the very first scene, and then the whole episode, weird things start happening, like ghostly things, and then eventually it turns out that she's got a poltergeist. It's like, yeah. By the way,
grandma in a panic.
Yeah. But like, yeah, now it's only just been brought in, which is weird because Sinistea and Poltegeist were like huge, and that's when it comes to watching people make regional variants of Pokemon. Poltergeist is one of the ones I see the most. People making like weird different drinks out of it and stuff.
Oh, it's
like
because it's so easy. Like just having a drink for like every typing just fits so well. That's why when I saw Sinistra in Gen 9, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is just amazing. Like just having a matcha tea Pokemon just coming through out of nowhere. It looked so good.
Yeah, I definitely say that it was a fun concept, for sure. It was nice to see it in the anime. I was like, hey, cool, you're actually using Pokemon that you haven't used before. What would be like if you could pick one specific Pokemon that doesn't get any attention in the games? Like it's just there. What Pokemon would you want them, like whether it's like a new evolution, new regional variant, mega, like doesn't matter what it is. Like what Pokemon do you think just doesn't get enough attention?
Oh, there's a few that I don't mind never seeing again. But then on the other hand, like
that can be the next question. I'm curious.
First one that came into my head was like Tangrowth. That's always been a thing of like, it's always been Magmar and Electabuzz, and then the only other two on the side is like, it's always Jinx and Tangela. Like Tangela got Tangrowth later, but then Jinx got just like Smoochum, which is just like really crap. So like, I would have thought Jinx would get like an extra evolution, like how Electabuzz and Magmar did, and I would have thought Tangrowth would have got something else, like a Mega, if anything. So if anything, I would probably say Jinx and Tangrowth should definitely get like something.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked that Jinx, because like Mr. Mime, Mime Junior got changed as well, and we had like Mr. Rhyme or whatever it was called, and like Scyther got a new regional evolution and things. So like, I was quite shocked that at least Smoochum didn't get another regional evolution, or Jinx didn't get a regional variant of some kind.
Because it's crazy. Because then what was it? Yeah, because Tangela got Tangrowth. Scyther got Scizor, Mega Scizor, and Cleavor. And then, Electabuzz and Magmar got evolutions. And then even Pinsir, of all things, got like a Mega. And it's just like, why are you giving Pinsir a Mega? It shouldn't even be here.
Go on then, list the Pokemon that you're like happy not to see ever again. I'm just curious.
My top two. Actually, I could go for three. It's Smeagol, Bruxish, and Indeedee. I would be so fine not having any of those like at all. Because like Smeagol and Ndidi is like just from VGC trauma at this point, and Bruxish, I always look at Bruxish, I'm just like, there is no point of you like being here.
No, I kind of agree with the last two. I kind of like Smeagol a little bit. There was an episode in the anime where like Smeagol joined an artist and they kind of like became friends and they started making art together. I thought it was kind of cute. But like no, the other two, yeah, Ndidi's weird. I don't. Ndidi kind of looks like it should belong in like Digimon or like something that's not like it doesn't look like a Pokemon. It looks a bit weird. It looks like someone tried drawing a fairy and it became too cute or something. I don't know.
I don't.
And then
Like, I
Broxfish
don't
is just
mind-
ugly.
Yeah, no, Bruxish is just, oh my gosh, could really do just without. But like Ndidi and Smeagol is like it's only because of VGC trauma. Like Smeagol just learns like every move under the sun, and it's just so annoying to deal with. And then Ndidi, I had like so many times bumping into Ndidi, and it just sets up what it wants to set up, and it just becomes like this huge pain in the like just complete pain to get rid of. So I'm just like, oh gosh, if I could just go through my days without bumping into either of those in competitive play, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah, there's definitely some Pokemon that make no sense in my head. I think Broxfish is definitely on my list because that was just ugly as fuck. What? Who sat there and went that is the next Magikarp, guaranteed. Everyone's gonna love it. Like who did that? Like come on.
Like borderline worse than Magikarp because at least Magikarp gets to evolve.
Yeah, into Gyarados of all things as well.
Rex is just like it's just you find it and it just stays the same throughout like the entire thing.
Yeah, it's really really ugly. It's really a shame as well because in one of the Journeys animes, Go actually catch a Broxfish. I'm like, why? Why is there a whole episode about this dumb Pokemon? Why are you doing this? Like, I think I sat on my phone most of that episode. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Just go put him in the garden and just never bring it out again.
Yeah, in it. So when it comes to, like Pokemon regions, obviously, they quite often, well, not quite often, they have done. Like the regions kind of like represent. We've had Spain, we've had France, we've had like the UK. If you could pick a specific place for them to do a region on, like what would you be like your top pick for a region?
I'd definitely say it's either between Italy or like another place in like Asia, like the Philippines or Korea.
Yeah, no, I agree with Asia. Asia would be really cool, actually. Like, do Korea. I think mine would have to be like Egypt. I think would be kind of cool to see. Give us like a lot of like sandy places. And like give us a lot of like if they're going to do like regional forums, kind of give us a bit, kind of like how they did with Alola, where the Pokemon evolve differently because of the sun. Well, okay, it'll give us Pokemon that evolve differently because they live in the sand, and stuff like that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
That would be a good one, and then you get a chance to like have an extra form of Lucario because of Sphinxes.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say it'd be really cool if we got like a regional evolution of like Riolu, which is Lucario, but like more Pharaoh looking or some shit. Which would be pretty cool. Which is there a region you think didn't do their inspiration justice? Because we've got like I said, France, Spain, UK. Do you think there's a region like, hang on, that's based off this country? That makes no sense.
I think they kind of nailed it, to be fair. Like I'm trying to think about it, and it's just it kind of feels like they've nailed it on the head, because I know they've done like Japan, I think up until Gen 4, which is like they've nailed like all of those regions really well. And then like everything afterwards, where it's just like based on other countries, I think they got at least the vibe of it pretty well. Like in Black and White, they made like the central hub like a really busy spot, like as you would see in like most states in like America and stuff, in like the busier parts. And like things like Galar, I think they nailed the whole UK thing well, like with the dialect, with all the NPCs and stuff. Same with the Lola. I think they nailed it actually really well.
So I spoke to my buddy about the UK inspiration, and the only thing that I didn't like was the fact that there wasn't a Pokemon heavily inspired by Welsh lore, because I'm English, I'm from England, but I live in Wales. My son's half Welsh, my fiance's Welsh, and things. It's like, they could have made a Pokemon based off the Welsh dragon or the Welsh dragons, because there's actually technically two in Welsh lore, and things like this. King Arthur actually. A lot of his story does actually based in Wales and things like this. Is like it's a bit odd how and Scottish was kind of represented in a sense, but yeah, Wales just kind of got pushed to one side, and we didn't get a lot. But other than that, I think I agree with you. I think a lot of them did actually do, especially like Alola. I love the fact that people actually say Alola to people, especially in the anime. If because obviously Hawaii. They have a very not strict, but they have a very unique sense of way of life, don't they? And stuff, and I think especially in the anime as well, they actually very well translated it into the anime. Funny enough, but like they followed the whole, the way they talk, the way they dress, and stuff. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I think out of all the regions, they definitely nailed the Lola like the best out of like all the regions.
Yeah, definitely. This is why I kind of like. I want to play Sun and Moon. Like I said, they've over the last couple of years, Nintendo have done their anniversaries for Mario, Legends of Zelda, and Sonic, and they brought back older games that people wanted, and I'm happy about, because like Sonic Colors was one of my favorite games. They put it on Switch. I was like, yes, but like they haven't done it for Pokemon yet, and I'm waiting, because there's also like Pokemon Rangers, Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, and there's other Pokemon games that people would want to play and or have never played, and new Pokemon fans, because we're always Earth itself is always growing. There's always new Pokemon fans, and there's people that are going to get into Pokemon via Pokemon Horizons, via Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and stuff like this. It's like, hey, give us the older games, let the newcomers play the old stuff, and they just have them. And like Sun and Moon is one of the games I really want them to. They don't even need to remake it. Just port it over. Just bring it over. Just make it so it's all on one screen. Just port it over. I'm happy with that. What did you think of? Did you get to play the Diamond and Pearl remakes?
Did I thought it was okay for the most part. Like it just, I was a bit sad because it was like, oh, it's Diamond and Pearl. Like they've learned from their mistakes. They know Diamond and Pearl wasn't great. Like fingers crossed that it's platinum, because they've got like platinum Pokemon in the trailer, so it should be platinum. I was a bit sad that it was just literally copy paste of Diamond and Pearl, so you had like a little bit less Pokemon to deal with, and it's like they put in the underground bits, so they like kind of worked around it, and it was just like, oh, we've got platinum Pokemon, and it's just like, yeah, but we have to go through like an extra step to get them, and it just you could have just given us platinum, but instead you just gave us Diamond and Pearl for like no reason, and I was like, I kind of just took it on the chin, and I was just like, cool, it's whatever, just like it's a remake, it doesn't matter, it's not important. And I was like going through it, and like as soon as I made it to the Elite Four, or like I think I was in Victory Road, and I was just like, right, I want to kind of like get a feel of what the Elite Four has. And as soon as I searched up like, oh, like Gen 4 remakes Elite Four, everyone was going like, oh, this is like crazy hard, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's literally just Gen 4. And people said, like, I looked at the things, and they are like competitively viable teams in all of the Elite Four and Cynthia's fight, and I was just like, I have not trained any of my Pokemon whatsoever to be ready for this fight. And it's so, I think that's what kind of got me, because like Pokemon don't really make it obvious that you've got like hidden stats within the game. So you've got like obviously the stats that you have when you get every Pokemon. But then for every Pokemon you beat, you get an extra boost in whatever stat that Pokemon gives, and it's always assigned, but they never tell you what you get from it. So like you could get rid of like something like a Starly, and I think it does like your speed or something, but it will never tell you. The time you're going through the entire game and you're going through your team that you've like built up from scratch, and you get to the Elite Four, all your hidden stats are like so out of whack that you can't really challenge it properly. You have to essentially get like a whole new team that you just quite simply don't care about just to beat the game. And I'm just like, if there was at least just one NPC, even if it was hidden in like a random house that just said, did you know you get like hidden stats like for your Pokemon? I would have been absolutely fine with it, because it's like, all right, cool, you warned us, and even if you did warn us and we didn't find it, that's our fault because we didn't go through like all the NPCs and stuff. But just the fact that like it was insanely hard to like go through it with a team that you want to use because you built it, it was like it put like a weird kind of I'm gonna say one weird taste in my mouth because it's just like you just made it hard for no reason. Like I remember watching like people's reaction to it. It was like kids breaking down, going like, I can't beat these guys. And I'm just like, yeah, because they're ready, like they're about to go into the world championships, and you've just got it like a week ago thinking, I'm gonna go through this with my giraffe rig, like nothing's the problem.
Yeah. Like, yeah, they were okay. The way they designed it was a bit weird, in my opinion. The weird, like, how it kind of made it kind of like they got the 2D-ness, but made that exact images into 3D. It was really bizarre. They looked kind of odd in some cases, but other than that, like, okay, it's fair. And, like, a lot of people were complaining because, like, you know, we had Pokemon Sword and Shield, the way that the way that works, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the way that works, Pokemon Go, and stuff like this, or Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu, should I say, and things, and then you go kind of a step backwards in the way that it's designed, and the people were bitching. I was like, yeah, but they're not going to put that much time and effort into a Pokemon remake. Let's be honest.
They was working on Legends Arceus at the same time, so they kind of like split the team essentially in two,
Yeah.
or like got like more for the team for Legends, and just went like, yeah, just like this little team goes off and like builds the remake, which was like, I get it, but we also wouldn't have minded if you just spread it out. Like if you did Legends and then like at the end of that year, or like even midway through that year, you was like, yep, Gen 4 remakes, here you go, and then like Scarlet and Violet's pushed a little bit into next year. I feel like we would have been like, okay.
Yeah, I would have been happy if they focused on, like, you know, just the one and then went to the other. Even if they did, like you said, they did. Let's say they did, you know, the mainstream game first, and they dropped that. And they're like, oh yeah, by the way, here's the new game, and then just give us a couple months to play it and stuff. And they go, oh, by the way, we're working on a remake. You know, oh, all right, cool. Cheers, more Pokemon stuff. Awesome. You know.
It felt like when Scarlet and Violet was coming out, they was like really trying to push things out very quickly. Like they tried doing the Gen 4 remix. Everyone was asking for Gen 4 at the time. It was like, well, with making something new, it's Legends Arceus, and we was like, all right, cool. And by that point, I didn't even think you even needed to make a remake that desperately, because I guess Legends essentially worked as like somewhat of a remake because it was still set in like kind of Gen 4, but like
Yeah.
it could the Gen 4 fans like enough to be like eventually down the line be like, yeah, okay, cool, we're bringing out like this new one now, like the actual Gen 4 that you remember from childhood.
So there, one thing I'm curious on your opinion of. What's your opinion on the convergent species that we got?
I'm such a fan. Like I'm absolutely such a fan. Like I remember when they first revealed like Wug Trio, and I was like, I'm probably not going to use this Pokemon, but the fact that they've got something that looks like Doug Trio, but it's not exactly like Doug Trio is just like it's so unique. I remember seeing the Toad Scroll, Toad Scroll. I was just like, I never thought I would use something that looks like Tentacruel in a team before. Again, when I was just like, because I saw the sprite of it running around in like the overworld, because obviously this one runs, it doesn't swim like Tentacle does, and I saw it run like it's two little legs, and I was just like, I've never considered using any species of you before, but now I'm gonna run through it with the team.
Like, I think it's a good way because there's a lot of fake, air quote, fake mon creators who've done this sort of thing before, where they've, like, you know, made evolutions or made Pokemon that you can tell it's based off other Pokemon. And I think it kind of just opened the doorway for us fake mon creators to go, hey, even Pokemon are doing this. Let's do this more. And they did very interesting choices. I think that, because they did Diglett, Tentacle, Sinistea. The choices are very very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing more because it's a new thing. Because obviously it came out in the newest, the last set of Pokemon games. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what else they can do. Because it's new. I'm just like, I want more now. I'm curious.
Absolutely. I hope they do it in Legends EA as well. Like I hope they get, like, if anything, even like Pokemon that's around that region. Just be like, yeah, they're a little bit different because like the climate's like different. It'd be like really nice to see.
I think that'd be also a really unique way of giving us a different version of Mimikyu.
or like one that's like actually like instead of it being like, oh, it's not like Pikachu, so nobody really goes to it. Instead, it's like, oh, it's like Pikachu, so we want it. Like it's
Yeah,
actually a
like-
loved version of it.
Like, so, like, instead of being a scared, timid dude who, like, wears this Pikachu-like thing because, like, it gives it confidence, it's the other way around where, like, it's, you know, absolutely in love with the Pokemon, so it looks like the Pokemon because, like, it's, you know, as a symbol or something, you know, change it up a bit. Like, because a lot of people want a different version of Mimikyu, but I feel like if they did the whole, oh, now it's a fan of Charmander or Magby or whatever the case may be, you know, I think it would be too much of a stretch instead of like a regional variant. I think that's too much. Like making it a convergent Pokemon where it's actually a different Pokemon than Mimikyu, I think that might work just about. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. I'm like, right, give me more. I'm curious. I want to know more now.
Yeah, conversion would be cool, especially like a convergent Aegislash, where it's just like this, like it'd be something that was like backtracks like Excalibur times.
Oh, that would be kind of cool. That's actually quite odd. How come we didn't get an Excalibur type like sort of Pokemon in Gala?
I'm surprised we did get oh no, we did get Aegislash in Gen 8. I guess that was like kind of their attempt to make one. Then even then, you could have just done like a Galarian Aegislash, and that would have been just like so much better.
Or what they could have done is do Honedge, but give Honedge a regional evolution that is different to Aegislash that makes it more of an Excalibur type thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like they could have worked it differently. But yeah, I was just thinking that I was like, hang on a minute, because King Arthur Excalibur, that's huge in like, you know, UK lore. How come that isn't a thing?
It's true though, because unless they obviously put it on hold because it was like Zacian was like supposed to be the sword Pokemon. It's like unless that's like their attempt of saying like Zacian was supposed to be the Excalibur side of things.
I think that's the only downside, I think, to the anime when they brought in the legendary Pokemon from Sword and Shield. It plays exactly like the game does.
Yeah, it feels like a good like rinse and repeat. I was never like I remember seeing the Zacian and Zamazenta when they was like showing the trailers for Sword and Shield. I was just like, it's just a doggo with a stick. Like Zamazenta actually looks like a good beast. It looks like a beast of a Pokemon. Zamazenta just looks like a big dog with a stick.
I keep seeing so many like people draw like a third one and adding different weapons, like people making it so like it has a crossbow built like armored as like a crossbow shape, or like someone drew one where it has a bit like it kind of inspired by Okami, where like it's got a big shuriken like thing that it takes off its back and throws or something, you know, and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, you can kind of see why they just went with a sword and shield.
Favorite's always been like the gun one where it's like Pokemon Gun.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, that fits. Just it fits, but they would never approve.
No, yeah, Nintendo don't like using proper guns sometimes, especially in kids, like because Pokemon's technically aimed at kids.
It's very strange that they never approve on guns, but yet they have like a bunch of different Pokemon that have cannons for arms.
Yeah, like we don't approve of guns, but here, have a gigantic tortoise with gigantic cannons. You know, like that makes perfect sense. I love Blastoise.
If that's not discreet enough, we have one fire type that literally has two cannons for arms and one that puts his hands together to form one giant nuke.
Yeah, literally. Oh, and we're not going to use guns, but we're going to give you a water starter Pokemon that has finger gun, which acts like a sniper rifle.
Acts like a sniper rifle, and we're going to give him an exclusive form for this region where he's posted up like a sniper.
And by the way, the move is called Snipe Shot. But we're not going to give you guns. No guns. That's banned. That's the truth, though. But literally, it's like, hey, we don't do guns, but here, we're going to give you everything but a gun. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. This is like... So, what's your thoughts on the fact that, like, you know, Pokemon come with like items? You know, we've got like Farfetch'd, Surfetch'd, where like they have like, you know, a leek always. Cubone always has a bone in their hand. Like, do you think that's cool, or do you wish they kind of like left that alone and made it a bit more natural?
I think it's really great. Like, just seeing that the fact that there's an item that's actually based off their design and it's like it's transferable as well. I think it's a really cool thing. Like, I remember ages ago it was actually, or like seeing Alakazam, and it's just like, oh, it holds a twisted spoon. I'm like, yeah, it does hold a twisted spoon.
I think Mega Alakazam made me laugh when I first saw that, because like everyone was like, hang on, Mega Alakazam, what's that gonna be? Is it just gonna have more spoons? Oh, does he get a knife and a fork? No, it's literally a guy meditating with a whole bunch of spoons. Like, I just found that great. Like, they lent into the joke about holding two spoons absolutely perfectly.
They're just updating their cutlery in their kitchen.
Like, imagine having an Alakazam. Like, I don't have spoons. Alakazam, I need a spoon for breakfast. Cheers. You're good. You're set.
Just about to have breakfast. Like, where's my spoons gone? It's like, Mum, Alakazam's gone out the house.
Yeah, just like, hey, where's my spoons? Mum, yeah, by the way, Alakazam's training again, and he's there making them all float in the back. Like, I will become a Mega again.
I just bought those spoons!
Like, yeah, that's the question. What happens if an Alakazam breaks or loses his spoons? Does he just go nick a bunch of spoons off someone? He just walks into he walks into Morrison's, picks up two spoons, walks back out.
It just goes like, I need these.
Cheers. See, like, this is the thing about Pokemon, especially Pokemon. There's so many questions they've never answered. Like, there's fishing. Catching fish is a thing. So does that mean if you had, like, fish fingers or fish cake, are they Magikarps? Are you eating Magikarps?
I mean, I guess so, because I mean, even in Scarlet and Violet, when you make something with like cloth, the new crab, it's literally called cloth sticks, and it's just like, yeah, you eat crab sticks. I guess that would make sense.
Like, because animals aren't a thing in Pokemon. The Pokemon are the animals. So, like, like, does that mean, like, when you go, when you have beef, is it actually like a Tauros?
You just go to a restaurant. It's just like, this is grade A Wagyu Tauros beef.
Oh Jesus, no! Like, it's quite dark when you think about it. Like, like, so because I saw someone put a post up the other day, and they're like, so let's just assume they eat Pokemon. What Pokemon class is illegal?
Ooh,
because if you think about it, right, like, you got the whole joke of, oh, Asians eat dogs and cats, and all this stuff, and the rest of the world's weird about it, blah, blah, blah. Like, what is that in the Pokemon world? What Pokemon class is, right, you don't eat that?
I'd probably say pseudo-legendaries, or, like, you know how they've got, like, the pufferfish, where it's like, you have to cut it so specifically, and if you get, like, even a millimeter wrong, you just die? I feel like that's just Quillfish.
Yeah, no, legit, no, that would be, yeah. Imagine that's how you die. You're like, yeah, I got a Quillfish. Well, bang, big knife, go card dead. Ah, shit. But, like, I saw someone comment on there going, just imagine they made a whole Pokemon episode where someone's trying to catch a Gyarados just to eat it. I was like, that is dark. Oh, it's just like, it's like there's things they don't like question, like they haven't like answered, because like they introduced the whole Pokemon taxis. They made like Corviknight like part of the Pokemon taxis and stuff. So like, does that mean like think about all the things Pokemon can do? Does that mean half the world don't have jobs?
Guess so, right? I guess that would make sense.
Taxis, cooks, we've got doctors, like, quite a lot of the big like firefighters. Pokemon have been firefighters. I think police work, I guess, would be one thing a human would have to do. I guess it'd be quite odd being sat there with a Growlithe going, bark, bark at you. You don't know what he's saying. Like,
it'd be a lot more
want to talk.
It'd be a lot more intimidating seeing a Machamp in costume just charging at you, telling you to freeze. And I'm not moving.
Yeah, imagine that. You go rob a bank, you step outside, and there's a Machamp in a police outfit. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, just like, take me to jail. I'm not even gonna do that. Just take me to jail.
Just don't seismic toss me, please. I don't want to break my spine. Like
Oh,
I just find something in Pokemon questionable. I just find it quite amusing that like they built this whole world and then they get like I've actually seen some people like, hey, it's just a kids show, relax, and then everyone's like, you do realize people have been playing Pokemon since the 90s, which means they're in their late 20s to 30s by this point. We're gonna question stuff. I just find it amusing. That's all, because like there's definitely
we've grown with the games. We are allowed to question.
well, if they can simply make a Pokemon out of a set of keys or a bag of rubbish, we can question their life choices and what they're doing with Pokemon. Because I'm sorry, Trubbish was weird. He's cute, but he's odd.
Trubbish and Vanilla was like almost the reason I stopped playing Pokemon back in Gen 5.
Oh, Jesus.
I literally looked at their designs and I was just like, you can't tell me that there's a region where it's just a bag of trash. And it literally took me to wake up one day going like, Gen 1 had a Pokeball for a design. I'm like, fair enough. And just went back into Gen 5.
But like, yeah, but you say that. Voltorb isn't a Pokeball. He just looks like one. You know, Vanillite and his evolution line and Trubbish and Garbodor are literally ice cream and a bag of rubbish. Klefki is literally a set of keys. You know, they're literally that thing. There's a difference.
I can't lie. If I had a house with a clef key in it and I was out in a rush and grabbed the clef key and I come back home and I can't open the door and I'm just be like, why won't the door open? My keys end up floating away. I will scream.
Yeah, but this is where you use your brain and you put your keys on Klefki. And just bring Klefki with you.
Just bring the whole clef key.
Yeah. But like, see, again, that brings questions. When it comes to the ice cream Pokemon, what happens when a kid accidentally eats the ice cream Pokemon? Are all ice creams ice cream Pokemon?
Officer Jenny,
Hello.
my kid ate a Vanillish again. It's for God's sake.
Like, if a kid does accidentally eat an ice cream Pokemon, is that class as like murder? I don't know. I know. Like, are all bags rubbish trubbish? Can a person take out the trash without making it into a Pokemon?
It's like, you've abused this animal. It's like, I thought it was a trash bag. I put it in the bin.
Like, I saw this. I made this comment to one of my buddies before of, you know how like we have around the world somewhere like islands made of rubbish. Do you like I made the comment of, do you think in the world of Pokemon there's an island made of Trubbishes and Garbodors? Like,
I would not put it past me.
It's just like when something goes on for 30 years and has so much like episodes, movies, games, a trading card, all there's going to be questions. They're gonna have to deal with it, you know. it just boggles me slightly. Like I just find it interesting when it comes to like that much lore. So when it comes to Pokemon ZA, because obviously that at the newest game that is going to come out. We know some returning Pokemon. We know, like, you know, you can check like the wikis and stuff. They've obviously announced a lot of the Pokemon as well, etc., etc. Are there any specific Pokemon you don't want in the game because like they've been used too much or anything? Like, is there any Pokemon that you're just like, look, just leave that out, it's fine?
I want to be so salty and just say Indeedee because I just really don't like Indeedee. If I had to say someone legitly, gosh, I mean, I don't actually think there is, because I think they distribute the Pokemon very well. I think if anything, maybe less of the pseudos, because now like they're like really pushing out the pseudo legendary Pokemon. Like I think in Scotland Island you can get like every single one of them from like every generation. Like the whole point of pseudo legendary is that like they're supposed to be really hard to find and not in abundance. So I'd say if anything, just like leave Gen 6 to just Gudra. I'll even take like Hisui and Gudra, like just those two. Like just leave them like as it is.
Well, I'm looking at the returning Pokemon that apparently have been revealed in trailers and like actually confirmed. So we've got Ekans and Arbok, uh, the whole P line, the Bellsprout line, Onyx but no Steelix, Staryu and Evolution, Dratini's line, all the Eevee and the Eevee evolutions, Pinsir, Absol, Heracross. We've got Sandal and its line, Fletchling its line. We've got not Fletchling, I've said that. Flabebe and its line, which I was alright. Honedge, kind of glad Hode is back. That's pretty cool. Harlucha, Klefki, Noibat, and Noivern. So like they are kind of there's a bit of a mixture there. To be fair, there's a nice like handful of Pokemon they've announced that are like a bit. It's taken. It's not like they're just focusing on one specific area. They've kind of like thrown around a bit. I like that. That's pretty cool. But I do think all the Pokemon they've announced are Gen 6 and before. I think.
Yeah, because I think in the trailer they just showed off what was in the Gen 6 decks already.
Yeah.
Flichinda, and then any Pokemon that could Mega at the time as well.
Do you think
Not
we'll
really,
get
like-
all the previous Mega Evolutions back, or do you think they'll leave some out and like because this is a Legends game? So do you think they'll bring in all of the old ones, or do you think they'll leave some out?
I think they'll find a way to integrate like all of them. I think if anything, it'll be like we might get like it might run the same as X and Y because I know in X and Y like not like a little bit early into the game they gave you the Gen 1 starters on top of the Gen 6. I wouldn't be surprised if they go like, oh, we found these Pokemon in like a faraway place, like go take one, and it's just like the same thing, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charizard, but they might have like Mega Z form. I'm assuming. But then I would probably say that they'd find a way to integrate like all the Megas that we've got like so far. Obviously, outside of like Mega Mewtwo and Mega Diancie and things like that.
Yeah, to be fair, one thing they could do, which I doubt they will because Legends Arceus didn't have DLC, is if they wanted to bring in all of the Megas, they could give you like core gameplay, like a handful of them, and then give you an expansion pack that kind of fills in the rest. They could do that if they wanted to. That is an option. But I don't know because Legend Arceus didn't have DLC, so they may not.
I feel like it's going to be more the single player side of things because like the last Legends wasn't like focused on people interacting with each other too much, and like even for trade evolutions, like they gave you like the link cable, so you could just literally just go on with that item and just trade evolve Pokemon without needing anyone, which was just like a fantastic item. And I'm so mad they don't bring that back. Like just pass the item over. I don't want to keep asking for trades. Just bring the item over. Let me just get them evolved without trading.
Well, I will say this. I mean, I plan on getting Legends ZA. So when you get it, if you need someone to like trade with, so we can like evolve our Pokemon, I'm willing to be your like swapper. we can do an evolution trading session.
100%.
Like
you'll see me with Haunter at the very beginning of the line.
No, that is such a thing. Like, I need Gengar. Like, I love Gengar so much. Gengar's such a class Pokemon. Okay, so I'm looking at the list, and obviously they have Eevee and all the Eevee evolutions. So I'm curious, do you agree with the fact that they've left the Eevee evolutions alone, or do you wish they continued and gave us like more Eevee evolutions?
I kind of want them to finish the line. Like they've already gone through like so many different generations of just including more. Like they might as well just go off and try and finish it. Like some obviously aren't going to be as good as the rest, but like getting a ghost type evolution would be like amazing. A fighting type one would be really cool. And it just makes things like really diverse for Eevee. Like you've got just you already have a lot of options of how you want to do it, but giving you like every typing of evolution just makes it like I can fit you in like any team at any time.
So one thing that I saw, which I thought was quite an interesting idea, is because Espeon, Umbreon, and Sylveon, their names don't really give away what type they are. Like Vaporeon, Vapor, Jolteon, Jolt. Leafeon, Leaf. They say their typing. Where Espeon, Umbreon, and Sylveon don't really. So someone said what they could do is give Eevee 3 regional evolutions and then change Espeon, Umbreon, and Sylveon's typing so they have like a different look, they have a different type, giving Eevee technically 3 new evolutions. So if they didn't want to make like a whole new thing, you don't have to just change Espeon, Umbreon, and Sylveon's typing to something else. I was like, that is a slightly clever way of doing it if they didn't want to make a whole like all of them a new one. But yeah, I'm the same. I want them to continue. A ghost type and a bug type would be absolutely awesome to see. I see a lot of like people making fan ones, and some of them are really good.
That is a really cool idea, though. Giving them like a regional evolution, but it's still them, but it changes the typing. That's actually a really good way to kind of like fill out the typings without filling out like the global Pokedex too much. That's actually a really cool idea.
Yeah, I said that. I was like, that's actually like a really clever idea of making it so, like, if they wanted to add 3 new ones, Umbreon is a dark type, so he could easily be the ghost type, or Espeon psychic, so that could easily be the ghost type. I mean, hell, a fairy, opposite is ghost and dark, so you could easily make, if Sylveon became the ghost type, it'd be like really fucked up and really cool. But like, they could do that in a sense. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of people bitch because bug, dragon, and fighting would be quite difficult. I'm like, you say that, but we have, an octopus that's a fighting type. That makes no fucking sense. This is Pokemon. Like, so I think they could.
For them to design wise, I don't think anything's out of the realm for them.
Well, just going back on our conversation, they have a bag of rubbish as the Pokemon, so they can do anything. They can do it, like
It's just that they have ways. They have ways of making it work.
Yeah. I'm. See, I don't know. With Scarlet and Violet, I was excited for it, but again, I was like, all right, it's another Pokemon game. But with ZA, because it's like going back, Mega Evolutions, like the whole, like, I really hope they bring Convergent Pokemon back again and stuff. Like, I think I'm more excited about ZA than I've been for the last couple of games. To be fair.
That's fair, because I remember I was kind of excited for Scarlet and Violet. It felt like new, because obviously I'm always a sucker for seeing like new Pokemon in general. So when I saw like, oh, it's the new starters and the new legendaries, I was like, oh, okay, cool, let's give it a go. I knew like immediately I was getting Violet because I'm just a huge fan of just purple things. So I saw Miraidon and I was just like, yep, that's the one I'm going for. I just immediately knew I was getting Violet, and then yeah, honestly, I think it was a really fun game. Like everyone complained about like all the bugs and like the glitches and stuff. But if you didn't really deep it too much and you just kind of thought it's just like a funny game meant for kids, the experience was like so much more fun seeing the glitches happen, and you're just like, all right, well, I've just got slingshotted halfway across the map, and that was actually surprisingly funny.
Like, don't get me wrong, I got Scarlet because I like the look of the legendary the most out of the two. And I really enjoy. I haven't completed it, but I really did enjoy the game. I did find it a bit odd how like it's so open. Like you don't have one set goal. It's here, have a bunch of tasks, do it. Like, that threw me off a bit. But like it. But I do find it fun. I really enjoyed the fact that you actually had a Pokemon that literally is designed for you to ride. I thought that was really interesting. That's a really cool concept, and that kind of like opened up a lot of like avenues for them. Like they can make another one that's like not a bike, but like I don't know, maybe it's like a jet ski looking thing or something that can fly or something like properly like a flying one that I know that they can fly, but like one that's dedicated to flying and stuff like that opens up a lot of different like avenues for them. But yeah, I don't know. It's just when it was the build up to the game that I was like, yeah, okay, cool, new Pokemon. I quite like the look of Sprigatito and Quaxly for Coco. They look kind of cute. I really like in the trailer Quaxly's like the way that it pops out and like pushes its like quiff out the way. Like I just really like how sassy it looked. It was great. It just looked all like sassy, so I was like, yeah, okay, that's awesome. The final evolutions, I don't know how I feel about. Entirely, like they do look out of sorts compared to the other starter Pokemon, I guess. But in a way, that's a good thing. I love the. What's your thoughts on the Paradox Pokemon?
Yeah, I'm a fan. Like, it took me a minute to kind of like get used to them. Like, I saw the future ones, and the only thing I hated about them was the names, because it was always Iron something. It was like Iron Hands, Iron Treads, Iron Bundle. And I was like, you could have done something like a lot better for that, and it felt like lazy-ish. Like the past Paradox Pokemon had like better names, but it was still just like, you wanted something that was just like a quick hitting name that was just like easily rememberable. Now it's just like, oh, it's like Slitherwing or like Fluttermane. It's just like it's not a name. You're just like giving adjectives to like species.
Well, it's like I've seen a lot of people bitch about the. I'm with you. The whole Iron name is really dumb. Like it's for everything, and it's just like there are other futuristic terms that you could use, like hyper. Use hyper in the name, so like instead of Iron Hand, it's Hyper Hands or something. There was a neon. Someone said, "Hey, use the word neon in some of them because the way that they're designed is very neon, very futuristic." I was like, "That actually works." Yeah, that's very true. Like neon something. Is it Terrakion's one is Iron Boulder or something? Like that could be like Neon Boulder or like work it around that. Like there are different words they could have used.
I just even
Yeah.
if they did something like futuristic, like code, something like just code and then its name would have been great. Like Code Hariyama or Code Delibird would have been great, because it's still like futuristic esque, and it's still like a mark of that machine.
Because like there's cyber, hyper, neon, virus. There's so many other words they could have used. Like Iron Valiant. I really like that design. I really, really, really like that design, and I really like that because it's a paradox for both God of War and Gallade as well. But like imagine that being called like Cyber Valiant or something on those lines instead. It just the Iron names do get a bit repetitive. Like don't get me wrong, some of the past Paradox names are a bit weird. Like Sandy Shocks is just so dumb. Like Roaring Moon, I think is absolutely amazing. I love the name as well. Like it's based off
Is cool.
Mega Salamence in it. So like the fact
I was gonna say I really
Roaring Moon.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really love how like the designs on the Paradox Pokemon, who like their original counterparts have like a Mega. I love how they incorporate that as well. So like you said, like Roaring Moon looks like Mega Salamence, and like Iron Valiant also looks like kind of like a mixture between Mega Gardevoir and Mega Gallade.
Yeah. So let's say eventually at some way down the line we get more Paradox Pokemon. Who would you like to see get a Paradox form? Futuristic and past tense.
Ooh, I think I keep seeing a lot of like fan made like sketches of like all the Paradox Pokemon, and a lot of them looked really good. I think the one that got me the most though was like a iron version of Vespiquen. It was like Iron Hive they called it, or something like that. It looked really good. It was just like a big ball of like futuristic looking Combi. It's like one Vespiquen, like I think it was the same thing as like its dress, but there was just combis, like combi drones at the bottom. And I was just like, that's actually a really good idea. Then for past, I'd probably say there was a past Venusaur that I saw that looked really nice. There was
that's actually something I'm shocked that we didn't get Bulbasaur, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charmander. Charizard. I'm quite shocked we didn't get them three.
No, I don't know. I feel like we should have got at least one start, like one of the starters, like one generation of starters that was just like, here's like the past Paradox form of like those three.
Yeah. Or maybe do like one starter trio for the past and one starter trio for the future. You know, like give us
Because they
like
did
at
that with
least, you know,
because they did that with the Swords of Justice, didn't they? Terrakion, Cobalion, and Virizion was all future, and the
yeah, and
Elemental Beast
then
from Gen 2 was all past.
yeah. So they could have done the same, yeah. But yeah, go on, continue. Oh, sorry, I just thought that was a bit odd that we didn't
It's
get
cool.
Star Pokemon.
No, yeah, I'm quite surprised. It was I feel like there was a lot that should have took the slots for the Paradox Pokemon. I don't think Iron Bundle should have been there. I love Iron Bundle, but I feel like someone else should have took that role instead to take that Paradox slot. I was like looking around, I was like, out of all the Paradox Pokemon, I wouldn't have expected Delibird to like get something out of that. Like a past one maybe, but definitely not like a future one.
Yeah, no, that's a good point actually. Yeah, I'm thinking, past. Ooh, Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and Hitmontop. I don't mind which way they want to go with that, but like Hitmontop would have to be futuristic, make it like a Beyblade or some shit. But like giving
That would
them
be
three,
cool.
like giving them three something that'd be kind of cool. We need another Hitmon, we really do. Because obviously Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee are based off you know, famous martial artists, and then Hitmontop is just a top. But like there are other like famous martial artists you could base Pokemon off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love for another Hitmon to be there. It's just I don't know how they'd integrate it with like a fighting style, unless they do something like weapon-esque.
I've had a conversation with someone once. I don't even know who Ipman is. He's a very famous Asian martial artist. He knows like Wing Chun and Tai Chi and stuff. I saw someone say Hitmon Ip would be interesting. I was like, okay, work on the name, but like Ipman would be great as a fucking Pokemon. Like that'd be awesome. Someone actually made the joke of they're waiting for Dwayne the Rock Johnson to get his own Hitmon Pokemon. I was like, oh my fucking Christ.
Hitmon Rock.
I'm trying to think of.
To be fair, now that you've said that, a wrestler would be really good for another Hitmon.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
wrestling.
we've had wrestling Pokemon before, but a specific Hitmon style. But yeah, that would work pretty well. I think. Yeah, make it because Hitmonlee is quite thin and fast. Hitmonchan is thin, but like he's heavier hitting, so make like a bulky dude. You know.
Yeah, like there's not a slow Hitmon. There's not like a slow, really beefy Hitmon. And you could make it its goal to kind of like just whittle your team, like whittle the other person's team away just slowly.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I like that idea. Make a big beefy one. Trying to think of Pokemon that I'd have a really cool like future. I'm quite surprised Pikachu didn't have one. I'm not, or Raichu. I'm actually quite shocked that they didn't, because like a futuristic version of Raichu would look pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that'd actually be pretty cool. Even like even like, going back to like Mimikyu would be cool for a futuristic form. It's just the same. It's the same little sprite under the clothing, but it goes in like a futuristic suit, like an Iron Man type of going into a suit.
Or it'd be like a hologram of it instead.
Yeah.
Like a holographic instead.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, you know, now that you mentioned Iron Bundle, which obviously based off Delibird, ever since you said that, I keep thinking it's really weird how they have Delibird.
It's just like, I know Delibird's based on Santa, so did you need a futuristic Santa?
Hey, I'm quite surprised they didn't go the other way round, because Santa Claus is based off the tale of Saint Nick, so I'm quite surprised they didn't do a past paradox and made him more look like, you know, the original Saint Nick sort of thing, instead of going.
I would have thought going the other way, where it's like there's like Krampus, right, which is like the like Santa, but as like essentially like a monster, where it's like he gives like the cold, or like he goes absolutely nuts. I would have thought it would have been like a Krampus if it was a past paradox form. And then it got more jolly as the generations went by, and it turned into Delibird, where it gave gifts instead of like tormenting people.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really cool idea. I like that a lot. Talking about Santa and stuff, I'm quite surprised Stantler didn't get a futuristic one and follow along with Santa Claus. Had like the Rudolph inspired Pokemon to have, the
That's true.
like
That's true.
Iron Rudolph, you know.
Just Iron Slay.
Irons, and it's a fucking reindeer. Oh Jesus, that's hilarious. For futuristic ones, I think Absol would be really fucking cool to see like a futuristic one, like an iron whatever. But like Absol would be pretty dope.
That'd be
Oh,
cool.
Marowak for a past paradox. That would be awesome.
Ooh, that would be a cool one.
Like, give it a new reason why like it wears the skull, or make it so it doesn't wear a skull on its head or something. You know,
It's got the
make
skull
work
off.
that into.
Yeah.
Like make it so
Ooh, that'd be a cool one.
as it went on in the years, then it started wearing the skull. But yeah, that I think that'd be really cool. I do like the fact though that the paradox forms aren't all final evolutions, because we have Jigglypuff. You know that has an evolution.
That's true.
Like they're not all straight. Okay, granted, a lot of them are. We only have a couple that aren't. Like, Magneton has an evolution, and stuff. So they're not all straight. Mischievous has an evolution. They're not all straight like final forms, which I like. They gave like more variety.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of that as well, because it's just like you would expect to see like Wigglytuff or Miss Magius, and you're just like, okay, well that makes sense, because then they go all the way through. That it's like some of them don't go all the way, especially for the past paradox ones, meant that like at some point down the line, it went from Fluttermane to Miss Magius, and then it tried to evolve again into Miss Magius to try and stay away from dangers or like get stronger or anything like that. It's a really nice concept to say, like, it's not just cut and dry. It was always Miss Magius or it was always Mischievous to Miss Magius. It was like, it went to one and then it learned to go into another.
Yeah, but it's also like, mega Pokemon are always the final form of the Pokemon. Like, Lucario, Lucario can't evolve, Charizard can't evolve, etc., etc. And like I've always said, it would be kind of cool to see the like first stage, or like the base Pokemon also mega evolve. Like, not on the same line, so don't give it to Charmander, because obviously we have Charizard. But like, give us something on the lines of like, okay, the Pichu line doesn't mega evolve, so give Pikachu a mega evolution instead of Raichu. Instead give us a Tyrogue mega evolution instead of one of the Hitmons. Instead, like, it'd be kind of cool just to give more Pokemon that love and attention.
I definitely think if they was going to give it to anyone, it would be Pikachu, because it's Pikachu.
Yeah, but Pikachu also gets see, I don't mind Pichu as much, because Pichu doesn't have everything, unlike Charizard, who literally gets every. Oh my god, if they give Charizard a Z fucking mega evolution, I'm gonna scream.
Best part is, I would not be surprised. I actually would not be surprised. I know that someone's going to get a Mega Z form, and it's either going to be Charizard or it's going to be Mewtwo, or if worse, it's going to be both.
Oh my fucking days. Oh no, I forgot about Mewtwo. He's got 2 forms as well. What's your favorite out of the 2 Charizard Megas? Which one do you prefer?
I'm like an edgy child. I always liked Mega X. Like, I always liked Mega X. I'm just that edgy kid that was just like, oh, it's Black Charizard with blue flames. Like, that's so cool.
See, I liked Mega X too, but in my head, Mega Y honestly just looks like, in my head, like the past paradox form, or like a regional evolution to Charmeleon. If like, because it looks so close. Okay, so out of the 2 Mewtwo's, which one do you prefer?
I did like Y. Like, I did like Mega Y. Because Mega X, I don't think it fits the fighting type that well. Like, I don't think fighting type was necessary for Mewtwo. And I felt like if they was going to do, give Mewtwo its secondary typing for X, they should have done it for Y as well. Same thing with Charizard. Like, if they was going to do give it the dragon type for X, you should have given it the dragon type for Mega Y. If you was going to do one, you should have done a typing that fit both.
Yeah. Honestly, personally, I don't really like Mega X for Mewtwo. It just looks, I don't know. I don't know if it's like too bulky, or maybe it's because the hip to leg to waist ratio is really weird. Like I don't know, it looks really strange. But if you watch like the, go on.
Oh, sorry, because I always saw Mewtwo as like the using his mind, same as Mew. It's just like he uses his mind. He doesn't get physical. He always uses his attacks to, hit from far away. So to give him a fighting typing and this really like big frame where he's supposed to go in and get physical, I'm just like, it doesn't make sense.
Honestly, that's literally what I was about to say. You literally took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say, I find it really strange how they gave if you watch the Mewtwo film, he barely raises a hand. He doesn't do anything other than throwing balls. Yeah, fair. But like, he throws people around the room, but just making his eyes glow. He's not a physical Pokemon. He's a mental, like, he's literally like Professor X. So to give him the Y Mega makes sense because it's a psychic type. It falls in more into the whole psychic abilities. And if you look how slim and sleek line it is, it kind of makes sense that maybe Mewtwo would kind of turn into this thing, to make it more adapt to the whole psychic abilities and shit. But X just looks way too bulky. Like, I don't know, it just looks really strange. If they were going to give Mewtwo another typing, I don't think fighting would be the way to do it.
No, definitely not. I would have said, if anything, give Mega Mewtwo Y the fairy typing, because I was like, again, they didn't really branch out the fairy typing that well. Like, majority of it was just giving it to older Pokemon. So if you gave like the fairy typing to Mega Mewtwo, it would like put more emphasis of like how strong fairy is in its introduction generation.
Yeah, one thing they could have done is give one of the, so let's say Pokemon X and Y didn't exist, as in his Mega Evolutions. Make a Pokemon, like, let's say they redid Pokemon X as like just pure psychic. Like, that's the route that, like, if Mewtwo just became like full blown one of the strongest psychic Pokemon of all time. But then Pokemon X is, oh, by the way, there's also a chance that Mewtwo could become a fairy type and become even stronger, and like, this, like, make fairy type like more dominant. They could have easily done that, but yeah, they went with fighting, and it's really, really strange. So out of all the Mega Pokemon, if you could give, a Pokemon who has a Mega, but give them another one so they have an X and Y as well, who would you like to see have, 2 Megas instead of just the one?
Gosh, kidding me wants to say Venusaur, because I really like Venusaur, but I don't know how it would fit in the design aspect. I think if I had to give it to anybody else, though, I'd probably say one of the Gen 3 stars, because I think any of them with a Y form would just be like really good.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think, no, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Mega Blaziken. I really adore that Mega. That is such a cool, like, the way it looks and everything. So I think Mega Swampert would be really interesting, because Mega Swampert goes all big and beefy and everything. Like, maybe kind of do what Mega Mewtwo tried to do, where it goes down the other route, so it's not big, make it more like aquatic, like make it more so like it's adapted to living underwater or something. That'd be kind of interesting to see. So I think I agree with you on Mega Swampert. That'd be really fun to see. Oh damn! Like, I'm trying to think of the Megas now.
It's like, you could even do like Aerodactyl also would have been like a cool one to do. Like, to give it another form, that would be very cool.
Yeah, no, actually, that I think that's that'd be really cool, because obviously it just, to be fair, I'm not trying to hit on Mega Aerodactyl. It does just get spiky.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not even a fan of like Aerodactyl in general, but it's like, seeing as Mega, I'm like, it's just sharper.
It's now edgy.
Yeah, it's literal edgy.
It goes through its teenage phase. It's Aerodactyl going through its emo teenage phase.
Screaming at his trainer, it's not phase.
Oh, that's great. Well, I've had you here for a long time now. Thank you so much for coming on and talking Pokemon with me. Like, we've been here for a while. Like, we started talking at the podcast started recording at 8 minutes past 1. It's now 3:45, so we've been here for a long time. So thank you very much for coming on and talking Pokemon with me. It's been an absolute blast. Like I said, I've been following you for easily a year now. I'm loving the Shiny series. I need to follow. I whilst talking to you, I found your YouTube channel. Again, I actually subscribed because I checked it out earlier and I forgot to subscribe to it. So I've subscribed to you now since we've been talking. And I need to follow you on Twitch because I don't really go on Twitch. Twitch really isn't like a thing I kind of watch, but like I do see your clips and stuff. So it's like I need to like make sure I follow you on Twitch. So when you do go live on Twitch, I can come and say hi and I can come and talk to you and things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you for coming on and talking Pokemon with me. It's been an absolute blast. Maybe at some point down the line you can come on again and we can pick a Pokemon movie that we can dissect, or we can pick a Pokemon game to rip apart or something. Because quite
absolutely.
often, so this happens a lot, where I interview someone who's a content creator, and then couple months later they'll come back on. So I interviewed another podcaster, and then he came back a couple months later and we talked about Angel, the TV show, the spin-off to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I interviewed another storyteller. He came back on and we dissected Naruto, and it happens a lot. So I need you to come back on at some point and we can pick one specific game or one specific movie or one specific Pokemon-esque thing and just rip it apart, dissect it, go from point A to point Z. I think that'd be really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, dude, I'm 100% down.
Awesome. Well, so this is the time where you can tell everybody where to find you. Your socials and stuff. If anybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna say straight off, I am so bad at plugging myself. I say this every single time I try it, and I'm so bad at plugging myself. But if you want to catch me out on TikTok, it is under Itsmeketsu. Same with Twitch. It's an underscore between Itsme and Ketsu. So if you want to find me there, you absolutely can do. With YouTube again, same thing. Itsmeketsu. You'll find me there. It's a nice little ogre with the Gengar mask. You'll see me. It's just quite hard to not miss with something like that. But yeah, Itsmeketsu on all the socials, and yeah, hopefully I see everyone there and we can have a nice chat. If you guys want to chat about Pokemon, obviously, also a whole bunch of crazy different stuff, absolutely can do. There's always a place for everybody there. And yeah, thanks so much for the opportunity. I can now scratch off being on a podcast off my list.
I'm really happy I was able to be the podcast that you came on, man. When we started talking, you were really excited. I was like, hang on, I've never had someone this excited about being on my podcast.
I always wanted to be in a podcast. I was like, I can do it now. I can scratch off my bucket list. I've done it now.
It's been an absolute blast, bro, honestly. And the fact that we're on the same time zone as well, because you said, time zone, I was like, British Standard Time, and you went, same. I was like, oh my god, it makes life so much easier.
That was the thing that was actually making me dread, because I was just like, oh gosh, because you sent me the message at 1 in the morning, and I was like, there's a chance that you might be from the US, so this is gonna be really tough to figure out a time. And you was like, British Standard Time. I was like, I can do any time we want.
Literally, right? I have a really bad habit of staying up stupidly late in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on the weekends. I don't have my child. I don't have responsibilities. It's easy. My American friends will literally get a message off me at our 4 o'clock in the morning, which is their 10 p.m. They then sat there and calculated that it's 4 a.m. for me and gone, dude, why are you still awake? So I get that. Don't worry. But yeah, thank you so much. It's been a blast. You definitely have to come on again. And you've now made a friend, so I'm gonna end up messaging you a lot about Pokemon. You're just gonna have to deal with it now.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure.
So you're stuck with me now, I'm afraid. But yeah, go check out KETSU. He's an absolute blast. Like we talked about, he's been redesigning the shinies. He goes on Twitch a lot and everything. And especially if you're one of these people that hate the fact that they use that disgusting green color for a lot of their shinies, he fixes that. Because I hate the green they use on Espeon. It's disgusting. So he fixes that. It's really good. And he's actually really smart in the way that he doesn't just pick a color. He actually a lot of the time he'll actually have a reason for why he goes with the colors he goes with. So he does use his brain, I promise.
I use whatever peanut-sized brain I can use.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah, that's a fair statement. But yeah, thank you guys, of course. If you listen to us on Spotify, give us a follow. If you're listening to us on YouTube, subscribe and everything. Let us know if you're into Pokemon, what your thoughts are on ZA and all that stuff. And yeah, don't forget to roar with passion, everybody. I love you all, and we shall see you guys in the next one.
This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zio to Hero, the podcast.